That at the beginning of 2021, the 4 defendants formed an organised criminal group to commit human trafficking in Romania.
God is on our side, and you know what? I have faith in the Romanian judicial system.
Well, what about this guy? He was a pedo and he got away with it, so why can't I get away with sex trafficking? Why would you make videos incriminating yourself this much?
Romania have filed formal charges against the controversial influencer Andrew Tate, his brother Tristan, and 2 Romanian associates. The charges include rape, human trafficking, and forming an organised crime group, as well as illegally accessing a computer system and violence against one of the alleged victims. The indictment deposited with the Bucharest court says that at the beginning of 2021, the 4 defendants formed an organised criminal group to commit human trafficking in Romania, but also in other countries such as the United States and Britain.
See, again, right, if you look at the stuff that he actually says that he's done, right, the human trafficking stuff. Because remember, he also went on podcasts where he's like, yeah, you see, I control the women, what I want to do, and I get these stupid bloody bitches to fall in love with me. And they come over, right. So, again, you can't just get somebody because they said they did something on a podcast or whatever, but still, like, the Brer House videos of him basically saying that this is what he does. Anyway, let's crack on.
Our correspondent in Bucharest, Lucy Williamson, gave us the latest on today's charges and the background to the case.
This investigation has taken 6 months to complete. They have been in detention or under house arrest for all that time. And Romania's organised crime unit have come out with a statement this morning which outlines some of the information that led to this indictment. As you outlined there, we know the main charges that are being filed. We know there are 7 alleged victims who are allegedly recruited by false promises of love and marriage by the 2 Tate brothers. And it does seem to be quite a wide-ranging set of charges. The charge of human trafficking is an umbrella charge, and within that there are several counts against each of the 4 defendants. We're also getting some information from the organised crime unit about the assets that have been seized, properties, cars, luxury watches, but also more than $300 million in cryptocurrency. And we're told that there are separate charges that are still under investigation that may be the subject of a separate indictment in the future. And they include money laundering, influencing statements, and trafficking of minors.
Lucy, for those who don't know Andrew Tate, just explain who he is. You did a lengthy interview with him just a couple of weeks ago, didn't you?
He's become...
That's the woman from the Tate interview. So, okay, so we've seen the charges. But I didn't actually realise, because you couldn't tell, because she looks completely different with the sun shining and stuff. But that's the woman, we actually covered that on stream. So she interviewed Andrew Tate. It was quite interesting. He got very, very cross with her. And, like, it kind of was a bit confusing as to why he would do that interview at all. Because he just came off looking terrible. You just came off looking terrible. If you're charged with serious crimes, you're awaiting trial, do not give interviews to the press unless you are super convinced that you've got some knockdown stuff. The only time I've ever seen that be a good idea was, say, for example, there was Alex Salmond, the former leader of the SNP, who may or may not have been guilty of what he was charged with. I'm not beating him up. Maybe he did do it. But he was accused of rape and sexual harassment by several women. But it seemed that they'd kind of been put up to it by the SNP, and that he had all the receipts of Nicola Sturgeon and all these people trying to push these women to make these charges to try and take him down. But I mean, he was already not the leader, but they wanted to stop him making any comeback or something like that. So he kind of very smugly was like, well, I'm not going to say what my lawyers and I have, but we will. But it will come out in the fullness of time, and I'm sure my name will be cleared. Now, he may still have been guilty because there were several women who accused him, and it kind of seemed like they may have been pushed into it, but don't know he was innocent. But still, he was found innocent. So when you know you've got all these papers, like, and you've got like all the receipts that are going to basically prove you innocent, or at least get you off, sure, give your interviews and be very cagey like he was. Don't sit there and give an hour-long interview for the BBC to take all the choicest bits and make you look terrible. Right, let's watch another one. Yeah, I'm bored of this one.
God is on our side, and you know what? I have faith in the Romanian judicial system.
So do I.
I have faith in the system, and unfortunately...
If you notice Andrew's like full comments, I have faith in the system, and Tristan's like, so do I. See, they're saying all this now, by the way, as well. So I'm going to let it play. Don't worry. They're saying all of this now because a lot of the stuff that got them into trouble was was Andrew boasting about having all of these, having like, I could get arrested. I'd be out in 5 minutes. I'd bribe the police. I'll do this, that, and the other. Which maybe you can bribe some individual police officers, but if you're in a country, unless it's insanely corrupt, right? If you're in a like Eastern European country where maybe okay, there's a little bit you could get away with. Right, you definitely can't go on basically effectively TV, well, not like TV, not my God, like the internet, all over the internet saying, yeah, I can bribe my way out of jail, blah, 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 because you're going to be able to bribe the government. And once you've gotten to that stage, you become a liability and they just want to get rid of you. So, yeah, no amount of money is going to change that because you're embarrassing the whole country. So now they've changed their tune. I have faith in the justice system. What a wonderful, wonderful justice system we have in Romania.
The reality is, in every country in the world, this is not an anti-Romania podcast. It makes it very clear. In every country in the world, innocent people get caught up in the judicial system, and they have to prove their innocence.
Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan defiant and proclaiming their innocence as Romanian prosecutors up the ante, charging them and 2 other women with rape, human trafficking, and forming a criminal gang to exploit women. Thanks for joining us here on Law and Crime. I'm Anjanette Levy. Prosecutors in Romania announced today that they filed these charges against the Tate brothers and those 2 women. The allegations involve 7 women who prosecutors say were misled and transported to Romania for trafficking, and that some of this occurred in the UK and also the United States. The Tate brothers had been called to the Directorate for Investigating Organized Crime and Terrorism last week. They learned then that some of the human trafficking claims were being dropped, but prosecutors told the Tates at the time that they were planning to add charges. Tristan Tate addressed the allegations during an emergency meeting with his brother on Rumble last week.
What is the whole regrowth of the hair and the beard thing? I mean, are they growing beards because, like, I know he's recently become Muslim, although it kind of like, I mean, look, it doesn't, I don't know, he hasn't done that no moustache beard thing. I don't know what it's called. I'm not trying to offend anyone. The Islamic beard. Well, don't know the name. Don't know if there's a name for it or whatever, right? But I don't know. It just seems like him and his brother have both come out with these beards, and and now he's regrown his hair. Well, to be fair to him, he looked way better with a shaven head. So it doesn't matter. Irrelevant to the case. I'm just slightly confused what exactly is happening there.
In 2021, 2 years ago, my brother and I formed an organized criminal gang with the intent of moving women to Romania so we could steal money from their TikTok accounts to enrich ourselves.
The Tate brothers say these claims are ridiculous.
They had a cam business.
Andrew Tate retweeted a tweet that states, the Tate brothers had over $100 million in wealth in 2021. DCOT alleges these crimes happened in 2021 to enrich themselves from TikTok accounts. These are all lies made up by DCOT. Tristan Tate addressed some questions from his fans during that emergency meeting.
Hey, Tristan, you used to run a webcam studio. I no longer run one, but yes, I used to. How is this linked into the case? That has nothing to do with the case.
Tristan Tate says the webcam studio closed 4 years prior to 2021. He and Andrew claim these allegations are fabricated, part of a conspiracy to take them down by what they call the Matrix. Andrew Tate is a world champion kickboxer, social media influencer, and former Big Brother UK contestant. He has millions of Twitter followers. Some of his philosophies have led to other social media platforms banning him for what's been called misogynistic content. Tate says he uses satire to convey his message.
It's always going to be satire with these people, isn't it? It's always satire. Whenever you get done for something. Remember, like, years ago, there was that thing with, like, what was his name, that Rouge V, who literally basically was like, yeah, we should legalize rape on private property, defended it for a year, and then it was satire. I was satirizing what a feminist might think, I think. Like, everyone always does this. And this isn't even, like, tied to one side of politics. You say a load of bad stuff that gets you in hot water. Oh, it's all satire. Yeah. I'm actually a comedian. Yeah. Anytime you see me saying really fucked up, messed up shit, what's actually happening is that's genius level deadpan humor. Yeah. Looks like I'm being serious, but it's all deadpan satire.
Destroy him.
These people are absolutely and utterly controlled. Most of our detractors are controlled by what they see on the news, and they don't even have any interest in finding out the truth. It's amazing to me. I'm the most famous, most Googled man on the planet, right? I'm the most Googled man on the planet, and videos of me are being presented out of context. And every single time I do a podcast, I say, that's shown out of context.
Oh, look, straight away, first here, out and...
Oh! Andrew and Tristan Tate have been on house arrest since their release from jail on March 31st. They had been taken into custody in late December. Tate has thumbed his nose at prosecutors, posting videos that appear to show him enjoying life as much as he can on house arrest. Tate broke his silence in an interview with the BBC about the allegations.
Let's start with the allegations. Have you raped anybody?
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
have you trafficked anybody?
Absolutely not.
Tate was not happy with the edited final product.
To be fair, right, that was silly. Like, what's he going to do? Yes, I have raped and I have trafficked. Oh, what? Did I just confess? Like, why even ask him that? You know when they do that, like reporters? Like, I saw one recently where they were going around China, right, talking, and they started interviewing people about the censorship there. What do you think about all the censorship and all the surveillance? Like, they're on television where they're going to end up getting arrested for criticising the government, going, oh, yeah, no, I hate the government, I hate the... Like, no, oh, I love it. I love it. Of course they will. Sorry.
I thought that even the BBC, in its absolute arrogance and hubris, would be smart enough to come to me after 6 months, being the first interview I gave to The Matrix, and be smart enough to ask questions people were genuinely interested in.
The Associated Press reports prosecutors have ordered that assets of the Tates be seized, incling 15 luxury cars, watches, and $3 million in cryptocurrency.
So this is him arriving at the court. I don't know if this is going to be one of those awful news things where they don't actually show us anything. We'll get some grainy footage of some guy of them getting out of the car and walking. Why does Tristan just always look so much smarter and like more together than I'm doing? Like, look how smart he looks. And then look at Andrew. Oh, he shaved his head. Oh, he's no beard. He's gone back to his old look. Look, it's like the neat brother and then the messy brother. Is he having a cigarillo? I think it is. I think it's a cigarette. I think that's a cigarillo. Like a Hamlet. Probably more expensive. Are they doing an extra? They're doing a cut for the cameras walk. Look at Tristan. Look for the cameras walk. Yeah. Fuck. That's up for the cameras walk. That's not his real walk. That's up for the cameras. Look. It looks like he's swinging shoulders too much. It looks like he's pushing past invisible people. Excuse me. Sorry.
It's a very good day. It's a very happy day.
Are you a rapist or something? Why didn't they do that? I saw a Daily Mail one of them covering with someone shouting that as well. Why? Why is going to yes! Yes, everyone, I'm changing my plea.
Finally, I get to talk about the evidence against alcoholics. How much money did you make from human trafficking, Tristan? How much money did you make from exploiting women?
They do this on purpose, you know, to fuck with them. Like, a lot of these journalists, like the sort of paparazzi, like, not paparazzi, but you know what I mean, the sort of just like the ones that just come out here. They're actually, look, the shit that they say is to fuck with them, because they don't expect them to go around and go, yeah, I rape, yeah. So they didn't expect, that guy didn't expect Tristan to go, probably made about 20 million off exploiting women, yeah, right? But what he wants is him to go, "God, fuck you! What you brother?" And then that's all over the news. He's screaming, he's shouting. Even if you just get a photo of him, even if he just turns around and was like, and pulls a face, you can get a brilliant photo that you can sell for fortunes. And that's what these people do. It's a bit messed up, right? I mean, again, I think the Tates are probably guilty, but Like, it's just silly. It's like to provoke reaction.
I don't need protection ever. That's right.
He's still doing it about the. Oh, somebody else said stupid question. Ah! Now let's look at him leaving. Oh, I mean, videos are kind of silly, but it's fun to just get a look at them, what their face is like, what they're saying. They were strutting in there, are they changing, leaving? But I know it's like we're not really seeing anything. But okay, so again, Tristan, who was like strutting right in there, he looks a little more subdued now. I don't know if like they've said the full charges and they're shitting themselves. I don't know. I don't think so. I think you just go into court now and sign some forms and that.
I would like to listen. I would like to say a massive thank you to all the supporters we have around the world.
Fucking hell, Tristan looks like he's shitting himself. Like he really does. Look at his face. He's like clock his eyes and his face and his demeanour. I think Andrew Tate's like so brash. I don't need to ever let anyone know he was phased. I think Tristan's having like it looks, maybe I'm speculating, it looks like it kind of just got real for him. Anyway, sorry, let's see what Tate says.
Regardless of what the mainstream media keeps saying and the lies they try and purport, we get tens of thousands of messages from people every single day supporting us, and they understand that we're not the first affluent, wealthy men who have been unfairly attacked. In our situation, unfortunately, it happens quite often. So I want to thank the whole world for all the support we get. I also want to give a very special thanks to Romania and the Romanian people. The number of Romanian people who send me messages of support is absolutely fantastic. This is my home. I love this country. I'm going to stay here regardless, no matter what. And I look forward to being found innocent in the end of everything. So thank you all very much. And speak again soon. Thank you.
Yeah. It wasn't going to say anything interesting because it's not going to, that's sensible. You don't want to say anything of substance. I always thought I'd quite like being a journalist, but this type of journalist is just a horrible job. You're chasing someone, asking him stupid questions to get a reaction in the boiling sun, running after him, like filming him walking. Not even doing anything interesting. You know what I mean?
Care sunt speranțele? O să rămâneți în arest la domiciliu sau liber? You are free and not free.
Nu știu acum ce o să zic.
Dar ce crezi? O să îți admită cererea? Drepte, grijă la drepte.
Stai clar, da? Dă-i cu dă-i.
I think that's it. Nothing interesting is going to happen now. I'm not going to do anything else. I can't say anything interesting.
Everyone else lies. Everyone else lies.
Oh wait. Oh sorry. Okay, you did say something.
Nu este avocatul, așa că cine vă duce cu mașina?
You need them more than me.
Are you gonna be house arrested? Întreba-mă în român.
Sunteți arestați la domiciliu? Sunteți în România! Întreba-mă în român.
O să faceți
And she speaks Romanian. I didn't know.
O să rămână. Da, dar înseamnă că tu ai mințit.
See, they're running out of shit to pay him, being with your car.
Dacă tu acum nouă ne cer să vorbim.
This is okay.
Sex trafficking, by its nature, involves force, fraud, or coercion. There is some evidence of force, apparently. There is evidence of coercion in the form of debt, and I'll get to that in a second. And then there's also the fraud, the lover boy, trying to get them to come, because you're going to get married and all these promises. And when he gave these videos out, or he created these videos to say you need to control the women and make them think that they're the only one.
We're going to watch a bit of that later, but also another thing that could go badly for Andrew Tate here, I don't know if he's going to get into this, is if you're doing the Loverboy method, even if you delete all the messages, the other person's going to have all the messages. If you're going to, I love you, or come over, blah, 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 you and me against the world. So, I don't know, but I wonder if there's like a paper trail in terms of like, there's all these messages, these women have these messages. If they can show a pattern, if they can show this is what they were doing, yeah, it's not going to look good for the Tates.
And blah, 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 make them loyal. That whole scheme, I mean, by his own words, are a form of fraud. And whether it's force, fraud, or coercion, or a combination of the three, that's going to be a problem for him. And here's the other thing. So now the judge has a file, and he's got 60 days to review this file. And I'm not exactly sure what that process entails. We're going to look into that a little bit more so we can kind of better inform you as to what that is. But right now, I don't exactly know. This is brand new information. But think about this. And I'm not sure who his judge is going to be for this trial. But if it's the same judge that's been denying him bail and has been reviewing, how are you going to get a fair trial with that guy? Because he's already made a determination that force, fraud, and coercion and all this stuff exists, right? So remember we had that 80-page order that detailed a lot of the crimes. And so you don't get a jury in Romania. What are the allegations that they're trying to extricate?
It comes to me out that, like you said, you don't get a jury in Romania. You must get a jury.
According to the BBC, the alleged victims were taken to buildings in Ilfov County where they were intimidated.
To be fair, there are a lot of arguments against jury trial in terms of the fact that the people aren't qualified and judges to be much more qualified and better placed to be impartial. But I've also heard a lot of judges and lawyers say that just isn't true, and juries are actually usually quite good.
Placed under constant surveillance and control and forced into debt, according to a statement from the Romanian prosecutors. The defendants allegedly then forced the women to take part in pornography. Well, we know they did that, with the OnlyFans and that kind of stuff. So let's just look at the other things that they took from, aside from the cars, because we already covered the cars. Remember, they took all their fucking Bugattis or whatever they had, how many ever cars they had. They took 14 luxury watches, a Bitcoin. Remember in his videos he talks a lot about Bitcoins? He had 16.10 Bitcoins, which is worth $294,000. 4.97 Bitcoins worth $90,000, and 0.003 Bitcoins worth $58.44. I don't know why they put that in there. But so
it's a lot of money.
They're going after him pretty hard, and they're trying to take everything. Anytime you get assets from illegal means, that they become subject to forfeiture, and so that's why that's an issue for them. So, in response to this news, Mr. Tate decides to so eloquently put out a piece. I don't know what you want to call it. He makes an official statement after he gets charged. Let's just take a look at this. This is so odd.
So I just wanted to have an informal conversation.
Wait, this is official statement.
I just want to have an informal conversation without my shirt on.
I was going to put a suit on and do this formally, but I think it's better if I do this informally.
Yeah,
he loves getting his shirt off, doesn't he, Tate? He loves it. He can't wait. He's one of those people. To be fair, in the hot weather, I like to get my shirt off, and I don't look as good as he does without a shirt. But still, right? He can't wait. He's one of these people. Some people, especially people who have got they're all ripped and all of that, right? Cannot wait. Can't wait to get the shirt off.
If this was my client, I'm pulling my fucking hair out. I don't want my client making any public statements.
Why would you do this?
You've seen the recent interview with Donald Trump, which is just a disaster. When you have a pending case, when you have public figures like this, the public figures, remember Alec Baldwin, he did the same thing. They get on the air and then they spew shit, and everything they say related to the case
clip of this I'm going to find
is 100% usable in court.
Highlighting some of the things that everybody already knows about how the Matrix operates and what they're trying to do to me and what I believe is going to happen next.
Just so you know, there is no Matrix.
Next.
I just want to show you this clip because
Mark and Craig, Pop Brothers at Law. We've been warning people.
This is the best fucking legal advice you can get if you're ever arrested under any circumstances.
You are working for an unlicensed dispensary, an illegal dispensary, and it gets raided, you need to shut the fuck up. If you shut the fuck up, you have a good chance that we can make the case go away. Case in point, 3 employees of an illegal shop were busted during a raid. 2 of them said, "Oh, I'm just volunteering here." The third guy shut the fuck up, and the DA did not prosecute the guy who shut the fuck up. They can't prove what you were doing there. If you're a customer, a patient, walked in to go to the bathroom, they don't know. You got to shut the fuck up, and it's Shut the Fuck Up Friday, so review the script. What do you say when the cop first pulls you over?
Why'd you pull me over?
And when he keeps asking questions?
Not discussing my day.
And they ask more questions?
Am I being detained or am I free to go?
And if detained, what do you say?
I invoke the 5th.
And then what do? You
shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up Friday. Never answer questions when the cops ask.
Have safe holidays.
Tip of the...
Right? Exactly. So, shut the fuck up. Like, that is what you do. You shut the fuck up. Like, if you're arrested and you're charged with a crime, shut the fuck up. Don't say anything to anyone. Don't say things, but don't do not give interviews where you whinge and whine about it, or you say this, that, and the other, because you can fuck yourself. Even if you come up with excuses that you don't use later, that can be used. If you say, well, you say something and then your lawyer's like, don't use that in court. Even if that was completely innocuous, right? The prosecution's going to go, oh, well, look, he's got this video of him saying this, and then now in court he's trying to say this. What a liar. Right? And it's, yeah, you're just fucking yourself. Do not say anything. Just remove yourself from the public eye for some time. Right? Or if you are in the public eye, say maybe you were still doing whatever it is while you're under the investigation. I'm not talking about the charges. I'm not talking about the charges. If he wants to make his videos about the other forms of misogyny, let him do it. But yeah, just say not talking about the charges.
Quite interesting that they are attacking me and attempting to vilify me at the exact same time, whereas real predators, which work for the media establishment, are being ousted.
What you're going to hear in this is not him defending.
That's not even a good, isn't it funny? What? Isn't it funny that they're getting me now when they're also getting people in the media establishment are being outed as having done the same crime? That's not really funny. It kind of seems like we're just going after people who've been abusing women. It kind of seems like that's the flavour of the day.
Defending himself or talking about the actual substance of the allegations. He's just going to talk about the media.
So it's really interesting to do a juxtaposition and do a comparison, right, between how they will treat Philip Schofield
and how they will. He's talking about the media. He's not talking about the court in Romania.
Who is confirmed as a groomer, who is admitting he has committed sexual crimes.
Okay, firstly, Philip Schofield, didn't admit to committing sexual crimes. Philip Schofield admitted to having an affair with a boy of 20. However, the issue with Schofield was he'd worked with this boy since he was 15. The boy had been a huge fan of Schofield. Shortly before Schofield came out as gay, he had an affair with this boy. Now, the boy, nobody... I don't even think that I say boy, again, this 20-year-old, right? I don't even think the 20-year-old was upset about it. And Schofield lost his job, lost his career with IT, really long career in broadcasting, finished, like, all over, all done, again, for having legal sex with a 20-year-old. But, again, there was the weird thing of, well, hang on a minute, you were working with him he did work experience for you when he was younger, he was a huge Schofield fan. Like, no one's suggesting he had sex with him when he was underage, but we kind of don't know. Yeah, we don't know. Right? But from all accounts, he basically banged him when the kid was 20. So, not a pedo if the official story is correct. No one's charged him with anything. No one said he's guilty of those crimes because there's no evidence of that.
Crimes.
And if we've seen his prior videos, guess who's also admitted to being a groomer? And, make them fall in love with you. Make them do this. And I know some of you guys are just, licking his balls on each side, saying, oh, but he can't do any wrong, and it's not really illegal to make somebody fall. Well, yes, when you extract some commercial sexual enterprise out of somebody under false pretenses, that is illegal. That is the crux and crumb of sex trafficking. It is.
Yeah, it's true. I don't like people keep trying to pretend that, oh, you know what? Actually, Andrew Tate's not guilty. It's like, no, I don't. Even if you think that should be legalized, if you think the lover boy method should be legal, which is crazy, but if you do think that, it doesn't matter because Tate did that, because that's illegal now and Tate did that stuff, right? It's like, I oppose the war on drugs. I think it's been a catastrophe. But if someone's caught with like half an ounce of cocaine, they're going to get in a lot of trouble. That's not unexpected, right? I would expect if I had a big, huge bag of coke, right, on me, that I'm going to get in a lot of trouble, right? Right? You know what I mean? I don't agree with the war on drugs, but I would expect to get in trouble, right? If I was found with that, okay? If we found with a huge suitcase with 4 kilos of coke in it, you're gonna get in trouble. Okay, I wouldn't be shocked, even though. So like going, oh, but it was only cocaine. Yeah, but it's illegal, right? I think the war on drugs is wrong. I think it's but like still, if someone was caught with it, if someone I like, I would say, well, yeah, it's illegal. They're gonna get in trouble.
And how they'll treat me, a man with no convictions and no admission of sexual crimes.
Not yet. And he does self-snitch quite a bit.
Look at the differences in the headlines. Look at how soft they are in their interviews with him.
You've had quite the week. How are you?
That guy does look like a sex offender. I'm not gonna lie.
Look at how now.
Okay, again, there's no evidence that he was a sex offender. Just to be clear, that is not what Schofield's accused of.
After only 2 or 3 days, the headlines are saying we should forgive him and feel sorry for him.
This matters not to what's going to the road that lays in front of him.
Yeah, it's true. Even because
it has nothing to do with it.
Even if he was a pedo, right, Schofield, even if he had banged the boy when the boy was 15, right, which again, there's no accusation or evidence that he has. If he did do that, and then they let him go, that wouldn't actually have any bearing on whether Andrew Tate, currently in a completely different country on the other side of Europe, right, is gonna should or shouldn't face prosecution. They go, well, what about this guy? He was a pedo and he got away with it, so why can't I get away with sex trafficking? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. That doesn't hold up in court. Well, what about that guy who got away with it? Actually, to be fair, when Michael Gove admitted to doing coke, so there was a guy who was getting done for possession of cocaine in court, and he successfully argued that he shouldn't have to face any prosecution or jail time if the then what was he like, Justice Secretary or whatever? Admitted to doing coke. So if the Justice Secretary can do coke and he didn't face consequences, and he's now the fucking Justice Secretary for the whole country, then I shouldn't face consequences. So okay, that was more, I think, the judge doing having a bit of a laugh, really, if anything, like hearing that defence. That's not just a defence you can use in the UK generally.
He's looking to build public sentiment to keep his little empire of incels going.
And let him off. Whereas me, who's been under constant media assault for over a year, they never let up. They never change.
One of the problems that, he puts a lot of content out there. So there's a lot to comment on, and there's a lot to
Such a bad comparison. Philip Schofield's like a beloved TV presenter who recently came out as gay, and everyone was kind of on his side, and like everyone watched him from when they were kids, and he used to present the children's TV, and then as a lot of that generation of people grew up, now he's presenting all the grown-up programs. Now he's on GMTV. I don't really watch any of that, like morning television. I don't give a shit about it. But now he's on the one show or the some morning fucking program. I don't know what it is. Right? It's doing. That he's doing. So there's people who literally watched him when they were a kid, watched him as an adult, watched him in middle age, now they're like 40, 50, they're watching their whole lives, right? And it's like, oh yeah, he had an affair with a 20-year-old who he was at some point responsible for, so he lost his job. And it's like, and then people are like, oh, well, we're being a bit harsh, because he, like, the 20-year-old doesn't seem upset, it's consensual. So, you know what I mean? Versus Andrew Tate, accused of sex trafficking, who was already getting a lot of stuff from the press. Yeah, it's true, he was getting a lot of stuff from the press. For all the stuff he says, right? For all the crazy, like, misogynist stuff he says, right? And even if you agree with it, that's not mainstream thought. And if you say something crazy like that, at least by mainstream opinion, was considered crazy, people are going to come for you, right? I'm a pretty hardcore liberal, and I mean that in the sense of, like, I don't like the state interfering in people's lives, but I'm quite comfortable with them funding public services, right? So, I have a lot of views, like my views on free speech, which tend to be pretty absolutist, but it's like my views on like the war on drugs, which I think has been a catastrophe and should be legalized, that are controversial, right? And I know if I'm coming out and I'm promoting that kind of stuff, a lot of people I'm just going to start getting a lot of media attention. And that's not even like close to going, we should go back to a more traditional view of how a woman is treated in society, which is obviously going to net you a lot of shit and a lot of flack from the press, right? You should know that.
Digest, really.
Someone sent me a clip yesterday, Philip Schofield saying,
I just feel he's moaning. I just feel he's moaning about the press thing.
He's going to kill himself and how sad he is.
Last week, if my daughters hadn't been there.
Who cares? Honestly. You know, sex offenders, there is no cure for them, right? And so what he really is unwittingly doing is comparing himself to another sex offender.
It's bad to say there's no cure. It depends what they've done, right? Talking about like serial rapists, paedophiles, there's probably something wrong in the brain. Like they should probably be kept somewhere away from people. I don't know. If you were talking, right? If you were talking about, I don't know, somebody who died, like groped somebody or something, right? They should obviously face prosecution. They should be condemned. But I think you can when people are in prison or when we can treat people again. We're not talking the serial rapists. We're not talking child molesters. But some people, surely that we can try and treat and make them not sex offenders when they come out of prison, or especially if they're not even going to go to prison. Surely we would want to go, okay, well, you're not going to prison, but now you should really submit yourself for this course and get this treatment or whatever if they are sex offenders, because otherwise there's no cure. They're just going to carry on doing it. Okay, well, should we not stop them? Should we not do something?
And whether you like it or not, he's putting themselves right next to the guy.
I wouldn't be here.
Why do they keep pushing me? Why do they keep pushing me, playing the sympathy card? And all the headlines are now yeah, we can't keep attacking this poor man. For 1 year they've attacked me, and they will not stop.
They will not stop.
And this highlights the difference between the people who are on the side of the establishment and the people who are not on the side of the establishment. I've been offered to sell my soul very many times.
Okay, now we're what? A little over 2 minutes into this, and he doesn't talk one bit about the sum and substance of the allegations, because he can't.
I want everyone at home to understand, you do not become the most Googled man on earth, especially amongst a demographic of young men which have money to spend.
Vulnerable young men. You know what? Yeah. Let me just give a statement out to
the often young men who are worried about the masculinity, or worried about what it means to be a man today, who are worried about they're not having success with women or whatever, right? A lot of these kids are incels, people like this. Although, as a side note, I've often thought you often feel really sad when you see these teenagers claiming to be incels. Oh, I really want to have sex and nobody wants to sleep with me. How old are you? 14. Okay, that's normal. That's just normal. That's called being a 14-year-old boy. Yeah, there's 1 or 2 people who are sleeping with people because they're kicking shots in the air. They're on the top team in the sports or whatever, right? And then everybody else isn't getting any sex. That's called being a normal 14-year-old boy. Okay, that's standard. That's all of us. It happens to every single one of us. There's loads of people you find attractive. You desperately want sex. Nobody's going to sleep with you. That's a normal teenage experience.
These vulnerable young men. You're never going to have a Bugatti. You want to know what the color of my Bugatti is? I never would have one, period. Even if I had, fuck you money, I would never have a Bugatti. And the reason being is to change the brakes, it's $25 grand a wheel. I don't know if it's quite that much, but it's pretty close.
It's mental.
It's not real. His promises of a future for you guys is not real. What's real? Working hard every day, going to school, getting a college education.
To be moderately fair, I think Tate does promote that idea that you should. I think Tate does promote the idea that you should just work hard or whatever you're doing, unlike a lot of other red pillars. But still, the life he's selling is if you do that, you can maybe end up where I am, where almost nobody's gonna, right? I think in terms of people who could afford a Bugatti, you're probably looking at about 1 in 4, maybe 1 in 5,000 people.
Finding a wife, loving a family.
Because you got to be a multi-millionaire to get one, right? It's not just you got a nice Porsche or something. It's no, that's how much are they?
Family, getting something together and building slowly. And all of a sudden you look back on it, look what I built. This get-rich-quick bullshit is just never real.
Without very large companies and corporations becoming extremely interested in it.
I've been offered $50 to $60 million by companies I'm not going to name.
Why wouldn't he name them? Probably because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's my guess. I mean, if somebody was going to give him $50 to $60 million just to shut up, I mean, if he's not part of the Matrix, why wouldn't he name him? Is he part of the Matrix? I mean, clue you in. There is no fucking Matrix.
All I had to do was shut up.
I like this guy.
Shut up!
I don't watch enough of his stuff because he does a lot of stuff about US law, which can't live in England doesn't affect me as much. And I just don't know enough about, so I just kind of have to be like, well, maybe. But from what I've seen of this guy, which has mainly been over the Andrew Tate stuff, he's funny and I like him.
Take the money. Wear the stupid hat. Wave around the stupid drink. Whatever it is. And continue.
He's talking about selling out. And eSign.com, you don't want to ever sell out to anybody, eSign.com. Seriously, eSign.com, don't you ever sell out to anybody, really. And, you know, and Andrew Tate, God love him, he didn't sell out eSign.com. And I would never eSign.com sell out, ever.
To agree with whatever the Matrix says,
I love this dude, he's great.
regardless of my own personal feelings, my personal views and beliefs.
Oh, by the way, there's no Matrix.
And just push it on the minds of young children. And I refuse to do that. I refuse to sell my soul. If I would have sold my soul to a large corporation, and then this attack happened, which I very much doubt this level of Matrix attack would have even happened to me.
Okay, I'm not going to watch any more of this because it's just dribble. You know, if somebody was really going to give him $60 million, you think he would fucking turn that shit down? Not a chance in your life. Instead, what he did is he had to force women under very cruel conditions to do his bidding and to do the OnlyFans or, you know, the online webcam business, whatever. And who knows what else, you know, that'll come out during the trial. And if he was so brilliant, if he was such a brilliant guy, guys, and he just had it going on, and he had the answer to all your problems, why is he under house arrest? Why is he getting charged? Why is he going to go to prison for a shit long time for sex trafficking, for rape, and being part of a criminal organization? Why? Why, if he's so brilliant? Oh, is it because of the Matrix? No, it's not. It's because he took shortcuts. He committed crimes in order to make sure that he did what he had to do in order to get the money coming in. And if you are one of his followers, I encourage you to take that money and buy Target stock or buy some other kind of popular stock where you get dividends. Guess what? That's going to pay you tenfold. Every dollar that you give to this guy is going to be money out the window. Unless it's just sheer entertainment value. If you got $50 a month to just piss away just because you want to watch him, well, then that's your business. Anyway, so we'll keep following this trial. And it's not just because I don't like him. It has nothing to do whether I like him or dislike him. This is a legal analysis show, right? I mean, that's the thrust of it. And one of the things I talk about is self-snitching, right? And so, one of the things that I was trying to contact,
let's get to the
three things: force, fraud, or coercion. Force, obviously, that's like being in chains and, you know, not being allowed to leave. Fraud, being kept there under false pretenses. If there's an element of fraud in the way that you are enticing somebody or keeping somebody in a particular position to work for you, and if it's in the sex business, that's sex trafficking. Or coercion, threat of harm or some other way to limit your movement. And so let's kind of look at one of his very first videos that he did. These are his words, not my words. And I'm going to play it, and I'm not going to take it out of context. We'll play this. Let's just make sure I'm not taking things out of context.
When you say webcam company, people assume, oh, it's just a sex fest. But in reality, it's a shitload of people management. The HR category of the webcam business is the largest and most important thing. You're effectively taking girls, teaching them how to make unlimited money from home, and then making sure they give it all to you.
So you're making sure that you're teaching girls how to make a shit ton of money and give it all to you. Now, this is one of his first instructional videos. A lot of guys, you know, he's got a lot of fans. And a lot of guys think, oh, in order to have some wealth, you have to have a Bugatti, you have to do this, you have to do that. In order to have wealth, you have to have self-pride. You have to know who you are as a person. And where do you get that from? You get that from building. as I've always said. So I do two things. I like to be motivation for younger guys and women for that matter, who are looking at maybe a possible direction in their career. So I like to motivate people.
Again, I like this guy, but I think we want to focus more on a lot of the
everywhere.
stuff that Tate said.
What's going on here? To have them work.
Studio 20 with 100 rooms. 100 rooms, 8-hour shifts, 3 girls a day. That's 300 girls a day working, and they all work online.
Wow, he looks a lot younger there. Isn't this only like a few years ago? Like, he looks like he's aging back.
So if you're going to go on Livegasm, you're going to be competing with big time guys. And what you want to be competing with is people at home in their bedrooms. You don't want to be competing with serious businessmen, because I know for a fact, Studio 20, the owner of Studio 20 and the owner of the website itself, Liza Yasmin, are friends, and they've got some kind of backhander agreement. So all the Studio 20 girls appear high on the web page. They appear at the top of the page. Obviously, if you're going to go on there, you don't want to scroll down 10 pages to find a girl. You're going to go to the girls in the first row. All his girls appear high up because he's given the guy a backhand. It's all this shady business. It's a huge competition market.
So you can see his main thrust is just making money, and he doesn't give a shit how he does it. Really,
I mean, yeah. Again, right. That's kind of what Tate. So this is why Tate keeps incriminating himself. Right, I realised the lawyer was probably going to explain this, but like, what's the point of watching? Right, so these videos literally outline Tate's strategy for getting these women. Right, it's like we saw the other one at the beginning. It's literally right a way of him teaching them how to make money and taking the money. Now, Tate, I think, didn't understand this was trafficking. I don't think he thought, ha, I'm going to traffic women, right? But I think, it is trafficking, and it doesn't matter. Anyway, let's crack on.
He's going to tell you in a second here. I suppose it's you go.
Cam business. I'll tell it again in detail here.
So we just want to watch the
fighting. I had some money. I had £70,000 in a safe in my.
One of our viewers had indicated that he's gotten most of his money from fighting. He had 70 grand. 70,000 euros.
Yeah,
pounds,
that is not a lot of money.
And that was it.
I mean, it's nice money, but that's not the type of money.
I wanted to buy property in Thailand and move to Thailand. I needed 80,000. I was 10 grand short, and I thought I'd go to the casino and make the 10.
That's also telling. I'm going to go to the casino and try to make money.
Jesus Christ, that's so crazy. How are you going to? Like, statistically, you're going to lose. Like, your best hope would be to just like take 10 grand out of the 70 and slap it on the red or black at roulette, right? You're 50-50. But even that's mental, because there's a 50% chance, or greater than 50, because you got 0. It's a greater than 50% chance you're going to end up with nothing.
When he's not even a gambler. Guys, stay away from the casino. There's a reason that they're so big.
Which was, obviously, we all know how that story went. So I lost 30, so now I need 40. I needed it quickly. So I was sitting there trying to find a way to make money. So how can I make money? And what I did was, I said to Tristan, I'm literally not leaving my room until I have a way for us to make more money. Because I can only fight so many times per year, and I know their income. So I got a pen and paper, and I was on YouTube, like researching, how people make money, what millionaires have, and they kept talking about assets. And I was sitting there thinking, what assets do I have? I'm trying to buy a property. I mean, I didn't own a property in the UK at the time.
Now, think about the word asset. What is an asset? Well, I suppose this hat is an asset. It's not worth much, but it's really the brand is worth a lot more than the hat is. But what is an asset? The office, the building, your brand, those are assets. Things that you own are assets.
Times they didn't pay me tax to anyone. I didn't want to pay taxes, so I didn't buy a house to confirm me. So I was like, what?
And keep in mind, keep that tax theme.
Yeah. Is he gonna admit to tax fraud as well? Is he? Because I think he's like that's then him going, well, I don't want to pay tax, so I needed cash in hand so I could lie about the fact. Why? Why would you make videos incriminating yourself this much?
In the back of your head.
What assets do I have? Okay, I have a car, I have this, I have that. And then I realized I had about 5 girlfriends, all smoking hot. And females are an asset. Attractive females are absolutely an asset. And if you disagree with me, walk in the club with 10 blondes and you'll see who the most important guy in the club is. Fuck the champagne shows.
Who the fuck cares who the most important guy in the club is? The most insecure guy in the club, it's important to that guy. But it should never be important to you to be the most important guy in the club. What should be important to you is the people around you having their respect, but having their respect because, not because you're walking in there with 12 blondes.
I've walked into a club with 10 girls, and there's guys next to me doing champagne shows. Is anyone looking at their table or my table? No one gives a fuck about their table. Pussy is the most important driving force of this planet. Pussy is the only reason that empires were started and wars were waged.
No, I think that was just power. Like, Caesar was a nobleman in Rome. He could, like, the reason he conquered Gaul was for, like, power and glory. It wasn't just about, he wanted to bang all the women. It's so silly.
It's the only reason all you guys are out there are even interested in having money. If there was no pussy about, you wouldn't care about having money. You'd say, oh, I'll have a little bit of money and I'll just play chess all day. I don't care, I'll play video games. The only reason we want cars and clothes and six-packs and houses and shit is for girls.
That is so simplistic.
Girls are the driving force. So when I realized I had all these assets, I had to find a way.
Is that true? If you suddenly became completely impotent and all these sex drive was permanently destroyed, would you rather that you then went to a palatial mansion to live out the rest of your life days as an extremely rich, super rich guy who could have anything he wanted apart from sex, because that no longer works? Or would you rather go and live in a tiny bedsit that's dirty and full of rats? Like, come on.
Way to monetize
it's silly.
Now remember, the assets, were something you own. He's got 5 women that he believes are his assets.
Yeah.
Now he's going to make money off of them.
I knew some street pimps. I've known them for a long time.
Jesus Christ! He calls himself a pimp, right? I'm going to try and find some of the other ones of him talking about this. Like, like how can his dick riders literally sit there going, no, he's innocent? Even if you love Tate, right? You've got to go, well, I mean, literally has videos detailing. So I learned from some old school pimps how you traffic women. No, he's innocent. He's innocent. It's all the stitch up. It's the matrix.
Straight street pimping is a completely... In fact, no, it's not a completely different game. The psychological aspect is the same.
Come on! You mix it! Right, again, I don't think you can use these videos admissible in court, or they can't be the be-all, end-all, right? Because you say, oh, I'm talking rubbish, I'm hamming it up for the camera, that's not really what I meant. I'm playing a character, blah, 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 right? But, I mean, you have to, A, get the court to believe you, to be fair. But if he's done what he says he's done, I'm sorry, like, how is he not guilty? How can you even look at him and think he's not guilty?
So, now, I'm not taking things out of context. He's saying the psychological aspect of what he's going to be doing is the exact same psychological aspect of street pimping, and that is control.
Of what we're going to do. The skill I'm going to teach you is exactly the same. I could easily translate mine to a street business, and you could easily street pimp with the things I'm going to teach you. But I didn't want no one else fucking my girl. That's the truth. My girls. I want to fuck my girls. I want some other guy fucking my girls. What the fuck's the point in that? So, long story short, blah, 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 blah. Discovered webcam and went from there. Flew all 5 girls in at once, sat them all down, so I've been going out with all of you. Here's the truth. Starting a business, you want to make money or not. 2 decided to stay, 3 started crying, got back on the plane, because they're all different places in the world. I had them from when I was fighting, so I went and fought in Slovakia, got a girlfriend, went and fought in France, got a girlfriend, went and fought, so I had all the girls around the world. So I told them all to fly in, sat them all down together, like, who the fuck are all these other girls? I was like, okay, truth time, bang.
All these other girls probably think they're exclusive before they come to him, right?
Yeah, this is literally the lover boy method. Let's fast forward past the lawyer. Because I want you to listen to me instead of him. Even though I like this dude, you should probably follow this dude, he seems good.
And you're going to have that element of influence through her respecting you, looking up to you, and her believing she needs you.
Now that is a critical thing. The old pimps, what they would do is they'd find some young girl at the bus station. This is old school kind of thing, or the mall or whatever, and they shower them with gifts, and then they think they're the best, and and these are chicks that don't have any self-esteem whatsoever, and then they start working for them, and then but it's a slow process, but it's a slow.
Yeah, they get them in. I've seen clips. I might try and find some later of pimps of former pimps talking about this. I remember one. I saw a clip of. I'll try and find that, where he says, "I could tell from a woman's walk," and it's like, they take a woman who's vulnerable, who doesn't have the self-esteem, they get in her head. And at first, they're taking her out. It's you and me against the world, baby. We're going to go at the top, blah, blah, blah. And then, next thing it's, well, a man like me has multiple girlfriends. They get one of the other women to go, oh, yeah, I work for him as a prostitute. We make all this money. He'll help you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, yeah, maybe you should try working. We can make money. If you and me, we're going to go straight to the top, but I need you to do this. And we make the money and we're going to get rich together, blah, blah. It's you and me, I love you, blah, blah. That is the Loverboy method. And that's what Tate does and admits that he does.
Slow process of mind control and physical control with money, control with emotions, and actual physical control.
And this is extremely important, because at the beginning she will need you, but then she won't need you. But you have to keep that fallacy, keep that dream alive.
Fallacy, that's his word, not taking this out of context. So she'll need you at first, then she won't. But you have to keep her convinced that she does need you. That's how you control. That's the control part. And it is a fallacy. And what is fallacy? Fraud.
She can't do this without you, to ensure that she doesn't do it without you. So this is what screen share is all about. Effectively, this is the way the business works. The girl sits on the camera. Now, when the girl is on camera, and you would have seen from my promotional video, that was at the height of my webcam empire. The blonde in that video I'm still with now. You'll see from there how we explain that there's people typing or pretending to be the girl 24 hours a day. So it hasn't got to be 24.
That part, I suppose, is fine in terms of a business.
That actually goes on with OnlyFans and stuff like that as well. Like, a lot of the time they have people who are speaking to them. You think you're speaking to an OnlyFans person who's got 15,000 followers? You think you're speaking directly to them? How would they find the time? Right? A girl I used to know, recently, she had an OnlyFans. I don't think she was making fortunes off it, and even she said, "Yeah, I just have there's a company in the Philippines, and you give them a cut, and there's just basically some little old lady in the Philippines typing, oh, I'm gonna do this, that, and the other to you, right?" And they think they're talking to her. Now, to me, that seems like fraud. I don't think that should go on either. I think that's pretty messed up. It's pretty messed up, right? Like, some little old lady, could be a fat old man, could be some guy there being like, "Ooh, yeah, I want to play with my pussy," and the guy's like, "Ooh." Like, that to me seems like fraud. It's pretty common with these cam businesses, though.
He's the one typing, and so you think you're getting all excited.
Listen up. Method is
you're really communicating with Andrew Tate.
But that method is very important for two reasons. First, let me explain how it works. Listen up, motherfuckers. So, the girl is on the webcam. She's sitting here. When a girl is on camera, she has a public room, which people will visit, and they will spend money in and talk shit.
And when you think about it, the people that he's appealing to on these webcams are just a bunch of really lonely guys, and there's a ton of them out there.
It is your job to train the girl to talk to and interact with that public room as much as possible. So when people come in the room and say, "Oh, hey, how are you?" She's like, they type. The men type, "Hey, how are you?" It comes in the box. She goes, "Oh, hey, I'm fine, thank you." And she has to make sure her public room is engaging and interesting as much as possible to keep people in the room. Now, while the
so there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with what he's actually doing. It's the nature of how he's getting the girls there and keeping them there.
She can also receive private messages. And all those private messages you are going to reply to. And you're going to reply to them via screen share on a computer in a different room. As long as you're on the same Wi-Fi network, you're having more conversations with men than a girl could ever have on her own. Because she's too busy on her own. She's overwhelmed. She can't talk to all these people. So some guys...
This, I think, is actually a kind of fraud. It's just a kind of fraud that's currently legal. Right? Like, I don't think you should really be able to do this, because it's a bit messed up. Imagine you're some guy that isn't that almost like, not like rape, but like a kind of almost that almost feels like very wrong. Imagine you're a guy, you start looking at a beautiful woman, you think she's talking to you, you're talking to Andrew Tate. There's a big muscular kickboxer there going, yeah, I'm going to play with my tits. Imagine. Right? I mean, it's a bit messed up, I'm sorry. You know, it's the norm in the industry. That's not even just, oh, well, this is what Tate's done. No, that's A, legal, and B, the norm in the industry. I just think it shouldn't be. It seems pretty mental.
You have to negotiate with, some guys have to do a deal with, some guys do whatever. You can do all that shit. But even more importantly, it makes the girl believe that she can't do it without you.
That's a recurring theme, that she...
What? You see what I mean? Right, about the just constant self-incrimination. And everything he's saying is like breaking down how to traffic these women. This is why I'm saying, like, we can be pretty sure he didn't know it was trafficking. If he knew it was all illegal fucking sex trafficking, I'm sure he's not mental enough to have done videos about it.
She can't do it without you. She is reliant on you. She needs you. And why is that important? Because if she thinks she can do it on her own, guess what? She does it on her own, and you've lost your profit center. That's what he's talking about. That's why the control is such an important aspect of what he does.
In the beginning, she can, but there'll become a point she can't. But you being here, it synergizes this teamwork energy. We're going to do this together. Yeah, you go on the camera. Don't worry, I'll talk to the guys. I'm going to talk to them. We're a team. Happy, positive teamwork. There's no negative energy in this business. You have to be positive. So by you typing for the girl, you maximize your money, and also she believes she needs you, which is extremely important.
See, now we're getting into the confession. Right? Again, what we were saying before is fraudulent but legal and the norm in the business. Now, you're getting onto the whole thing about making sure the woman needs you. Making sure, right, you're controlling her. Right? This is it. This is...
Later on down the line, I got to the point where I'd hired typers. So I didn't have to type. So I'd hired girls to sit and type and pretend to be the girls. So I had girls online. I had an office full of girls pretending to type. So I had 4 typers, 20 girls online, for example. Another reason we use Chatterbait is because they will pay you in Bitcoin.
This is another critical part of what he does.
Is he about to confess to tax fraud as well? Because if you're confessing to tax evasion, like, surely he knew tax evasion's illegal, right? Maybe that's not where he's going. So I had Bitcoin because I just like the old crypto. But given what he said earlier, right, you want to pay any tax, it kind of looks like he's going to confess to something that I'm like, bro, surely you know that's like, it's illegal to avoid tax.
And that may impact a criminal prosecution of him later. And if you recall at the beginning of this video, he talked about not wanting to own property because he didn't want to pay taxes. And him not paying taxes is a recurring theme. And so if he's avoiding taxes, you can't avoid taxes with Bitcoin. I mean, you still owe the money. If you're making money, it's income, you have income taxes. Just because you're paid in Bitcoin doesn't mean that...
Yeah, that's true. If you're paid in turnips, you owe whatever the value of those turnips was, or whatever 30% or 40% of the value of the turnips was, right? You're not exonerated tax. If you have income that's taxable, it's taxable. Whether you say, hey, you pay me in this, doesn't matter. You owe tax.
You don't owe the taxes. So let's continue.
They'll pay you in Bitcoin. You put in your Bitcoin address and they'll pay you in Bitcoin. And this is amazing because you've all seen the thought audit shit that's going on. You've all seen the fucking legalities of banking. Trying to get money out of these sites into your bank without paying a shitload of tax is actually very difficult.
See, it's that whole avoiding taxes. And
he literally is. He's confessing to avoiding tax as well. This is fucking silly.
We got an hour segment of this fucking thing, but we don't need to do that anymore because in the last 6 months, Chatterbait have released a Bitcoin option. So they'll pay you in Bitcoin. So if your girl on there working, let's say you generate $3,000, $4,000, bang, you get Bitcoin into your wallet. Done. No fucking tax, no thought audit, none of that shit. And I had a separate phone with all my girls' guys in that phone, and I kept control of it. And I would speak to them, and before she went online, I would tell her like any basic information. You don't let your girl have this, because if your girl ever runs off and leaves you, which is going to happen to some of you at least, you don't want her to have an address book of all the guys she can get money from.
Another aspect of control. You don't want her to have your client list, because if she has...
Yeah. You see what I mean? Like this, yeah. That guy's cap is right. Stop self-snitching.
The client list, she can leave you. So you've got to restrict her information.
Yeah, control.
So it's systematic, and it's a systematic method of control to control these women.
Go, well, I don't know the account. I don't have the password to the account. I've never set it up before. I don't know how the banking works. I don't have any of my guys' phone numbers. I have nothing. And that's why they don't want to leave. Because they're like, oh, well, he has everything. I need him. I have to stay with him. He has everything. It's important. I'm telling you, it's a very important element, that control.
It's a very important element. That.
Why is he releasing videos like this? We're going to watch a little podcast one where I think he basically confesses a lot afterwards. We'll have to scroll through a bit because it's like he talks about his whole life story. So we'll go through past all the childhood stuff. But it's like 2 hours. I'm not watching the whole thing. But
control.
The girls will be like, well, what the fuck do I need this dude for? And they will leave if you don't have every aspect under control. Tax is also another important element for controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax because you're getting paid in Bitcoin. So you don't need to pay tax to anybody.
That's not legal advice, by the way.
You need to tell your girl that you're paying the tax. Because girls are lazy, and girls are stupid, and girls don't understand how taxes work.
Jesus
so the girl's
Christ.
working with you, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we've made this much money.
this is why, by the way, people might think, oh, I'm just nitpicking because of the misogyny, but a lot of that is why he treats women like that, and then why he can traffic women and take the money from them and do all of this. Because, he has no respect for them, right?
But I'm going to pay the tax to make sure we don't get in trouble. She'll sit there and go, okay. Now that allows you to do two things. One, it's another control element.
See how that control is a recurring theme?
So he's evading tax, and then he's lying to them about having to pay tax to get money off them. So even if those women had flown over voluntarily to deliberately be porn stars working for him, not only has he evaded tax, but he's also stolen money from them. So they could still sue him, right, and get a load of money from him, even if he hadn't done any of the other illegal stuff. And he could still face criminal charges for evading tax for all of this. He'd be more likely to be fined, heavy fines, but still.
Over and over and over again.
I work with him, my tax is not a problem. If I do it alone, I have to deal with taxes. Taxes are complicated. It's a control element.
And he doesn't have respect for these women at all, because he thinks they're stupid.
It allows you to pay her a smaller percentage. So I used to pay my girls 30%. So for every $10,000 they made, I'd give them 3, and I'd keep 7. They thought they were on 50%. And I said that the disparity is because of taxes. So you're on 50%, but we had to pay the tax first, and then it's 50-50. If they say, why was it 50-50? Because I'm the one on camera. You say, because I'm the one typing, I'm the one with the property you're working in, I'm the one paying the bills, the electricity, I'm the one who's, and the electricity and every other maintenance cost of this property, I'm the one who bought the equipment, I'm the one who knows what he's doing, I'm the one with the knowledge, I'm the da-da-da-da-da-da. Shut the fuck up, go online. And they should be pretty happy with that if they respect you as a person overall. So really, you're paying 30. You know
what I mean about the control and about the way that they have to select these women? Because you have to select the kind of woman, right, who will just go, oh, okay, right? So, you have to select women who have low self-esteem, who are naive, right, who will kind of follow Andrew Tate and just kind of, do what he said. This is literally pimping. This is literally how pimps work.
You're paying 50. The difference is in the tax. That's where the disparity lies, taxes. If they don't believe you or they want to get fresh or whatever, print out some tax forms. I used to do this all the time. I used to print out some random tax forms and say, yeah, sign here and sign this. What is it? It's for the tax. You want to pay the tax or not? Oh, okay. And they just sign away. They don't know what they're fucking signing. I'll throw them away afterwards. But they think something's happening. Something real's happening. Nothing's happening.
There's so many crimes he's confessing to. That is fraud if you do that. That is literally fraud. It could sue you. Even if everything else was legit, a lot of them would have grounds to sue you for all the money you've taken from them.
It's like me getting rich, bitch.
Nothing's happening except for me getting rich, bitch. That's what he just said. So he's taking another 20% of what would have been their earnings, saying he's paying taxes, but he's not paying taxes. His words. Having them even sign a dummy tax form that is just to try to convince her even more that he's paying some taxes, which is just ridiculous. And so, force, fraud, or coercion.
Anyway, so tax is another important element to keep control of the girl. You have to fuck the girls. You cannot do a business relationship with a female, and I'll tell you why.
Jesus.
Women have sex with somebody. If they're not fucking you, they're fucking somebody else. Now, a woman's always going to be the most loyal to the guy she's fucking, as opposed to anyone else for any other reason. If you have a girl work for you and you say, look, we're going to be business partners, we're going to make money, here's your cut, here's my cut, we're going to work together, blah, 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 blah. Here's a fucking, I've had dudes, I've known loads of guys who've like tried to do a contract with a girl, tried to sit there and talk common sense to a girl. When's the last time talking common sense to a girl has ever worked? Ever. If you're not fucking the girl, she is fucking someone else. And that other person she's fucking is going to have the control over her mind.
Again, control.
See, it's control, and it's also just like... See, it's the control, plus, like, also all the other shit, like, kind of shows, like, why he does this to women. Well, firstly, he wants the money, but also, like, it's that common Red Bull thing of, like, women, everything women says is stupid, like, you can't talk sense to them. It's kind of, it's not actually a traditional view of women, it's much more of the kind of 1970s, like, just laugh at the fucking, like, laugh at the woman who's trying to, like, you know, there's a one woman who's, like, who's senior at the company when she's not there, all the men are like, laughing at her, silly bitch, what does she bloody know, blah, blah, blah. Do you know what I mean? It's like that 1970s, like, if you ever go out with a load of old men and hear the sort of shit they say about women, you're like, oh, right. Yeah, that's what it was like for women when just nobody would take them seriously. But Tate, Tate just has those views. I don't want to get too much into the misogyny thing because it doesn't matter to what we're talking about. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter if he's a sexist. It matters that he's done these crimes.
Control her through money.
As opposed to you. And if he controls her mind and you don't control her mind, once she starts to pick it up a bit after a few weeks, a few months, whatever, and realizes how to make money on her own, is she going to stay and keep paying you, or is she going to run off and pay her boyfriend, or them two are going to go traveling in Southeast Asia and she's going to work as she goes, or she's going to go to her boyfriend and say, look, fuck it, you type for me. What you actually turn these things into is Bitcoin. So effectively what a webcam company is doing is mining Bitcoin. But instead of mining Bitcoin the traditional way with huge electricity expenses and...
Okay, you're not mining Bitcoin. It's just to clarify. If people pay you in Bitcoin, that's not mining Bitcoin. That's not like what mining Bitcoin is.
Massively expensive equipment and space and cooling and all that bullshit. You mine Bitcoin with some pussy and titties.
You mine Bitcoin with pussy and titties. That's what he just said. Did I take that out of context? I don't think I did. I'm a financial entry that could have...
Oh yeah, but you're always working. I have to do some traveling and you can't come. I want to bring you with me. Traveling's a great one because the thing about this business is mobile. If you can find a good Airbnb with good internet, you can run it somewhere else. So it's a good little caveat to throw in. Oh, and you're always working. Why don't you work for me so we spend more time together? Work for you doing what? So you'll have a webcam business. Oh, I don't want to do that. So okay, I know you don't want to do that, but listen. Come, let's have a meeting. Let's just talk about it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. Fine. But let me explain it to you properly. In fact, I'll bring one of the girls who works for me. You, your bottom bitch, the new girl, you go out for fucking a nice dinner.
He uses pimp terms like bottom bitch. Come on, guys. Like, I know there's a lot of people who like Tate, but you kind of got to see that the dude's a pimp, right?
Your bottom bitch is the one who does the selling. You don't do the selling. The girl has to hear it from a girl. And this is where your bottom bitch has to be trained. That's why I said it's so important to have a good first girl.
Remember Ghislaine Maxwell? That was the girl that recruited for Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, it's a really common tactic, right? It's a really common tactic that a lot of these people use is to get a woman because they'll put other girls at ease. Because when there's a guy there, there's a load of guys, it can get scary. It's like, oh, they're all trying to fuck me, blah, blah, blah. So another woman there, oh, no, it's okay, don't worry, this is normal, this is fine, he's safe. Because, you know, to make the other woman feel safe, wrongly, so that they can then be exploited. Right, yeah, again, like the lawyer father saying, like with the Jeffrey Epstein stuff.
It's identical to what he's talking about here. When you put all this into context, you have the way he structured his business. One of the ways that he's lured the girls is by having another girl there, identical to what Epstein was doing. Now,
I don't think I see any more of this.
And this is the danger when you have the Romanian.
Oh no, not a court in Romania.
They're corruption-free, as we all know. They put me in jail. I'm gonna walk in there with a pile of money like this.
Why would you say this?
Walk in there with a pile of money.
See, when he said all of that, I think we're done with this video. But when he said all of that, right, it was so stupid because the thing is, even if he has got enough money to bribe some low down, some sort of like low down criminal black police officer or prosecutor in Romania. If you're going on the telly, right, or not go on telly, sorry, if you're going on YouTube, whatever, with millions of followers, right, so you might as well be on TV, bigger than TV, right, then anyone, it's worse than going on the fucking news and saying it, right? And you're saying, yeah, I can bribe them. Now you're a liability. Now they don't give a shit how much money you've got. They just want to fuck you because you made them look bad, right? Like if you're in a corrupt country and you're bribing people and you can don't fucking go on to millions of followers online going, I'm bribing them. I'll bribe the court. Don't worry, they can't get me, I'll bribe them. Because now you're a liability, now your money's worthless, because now the fucking government are trying to get rid of you because you're making the whole country look like shit, especially when it's Romania that's trying to look like it's dealing with corruption for the EU. Why not go after this one guy who's not really important in Romania to the Romanian people? You know what I mean? You're just painting a target on your head. I don't know why I would say that. Anyway, so there's this podcast as well where Andrew Tate was on a few years ago, where he also goes through it and kind of explains it all.
My brother's bedroom, and I said, we're going to start a webcam company. Okay, that was the beginning of it all.
Skills. We got to the beginning.
How do you end up getting 75 girls to work for you?
Yeah, so, and this is the thing that's interesting about it, because when people hear this story and they say like a pimp...
No, let's put it out, but is that Brez, I don't know this guy, is this Brez name James English, but he's Scottish? Like, it's just a bit funny. It doesn't matter. I'm not having to go at him. But you know what I mean? It's just a little bit funny. It's like if your name was like Billy Canadian and you're American.
Etc. People imagine me to be this exploitive, horrible, evil man, which is absolutely and utterly the complete opposite. I'm not trying to convince the internet I'm a nice guy, right? Because I don't give a shit. I'm just telling the truth. So the beginning of it was I messaged my 6 girlfriends and told them they're all coming to live with me and I had a job for them in London. 2 of them wouldn't come. 4 of them agreed. And I was like, we're going to make a bunch of money. You're going to live with me, blah, blah, blah. We're going to live the dream. Right now I'm in between apartments, so I'm in this shitty apartment. You know, because kickboxing's not boxing, bro. You're not making millions like the boxers are. So the 4 girls flew in. I sat them all down at a table. They're all like, who's this chick? Who's this chick? Told them all the truth. I just straight sat there. Just sat there and said, listen, I've been with you all. I'm starting a business. I'm going to get rich. Some of you are going to come with me to the top of the mountain, or if you're pissed off, you can fucking fly home. Just very matter of fact to the point, because I needed money. At this point, now I have not agreed to take another fight. I need money now. So 2 of them left. 2 of them agreed to stay. And the beginning of my cam empire was this tiny little apartment, me and my 2 girlfriends living in this house, right? And they went on cam together as a duo, as a team, to start making money. And that was the beginning of it. And the interesting thing about it was these girls were so inept from a business perspective. Like, they were very beautiful and they're nice girls. I can't say anything bad about them, but they were not, women do not have a business mind. So they'd sit on webcam, right? And an old dude would sit.
I feel like this is sometimes just a side note, how people get into this way of thinking, right? You meet the sort of women that are hanging around kickboxing events trying to fuck the like best boxer, right? And then you're like, see, they don't have a head. That kind of woman doesn't have a head for business. I guess it's because women just don't understand business. It's like, okay, I mean, I'm pretty sure like Lisa Sue, the head of like AMD, does. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of those women do. Just as a side note, I'm not going to pick up all the misogyny shit, because we're interested in the in the self-incrimination shit. Like, everyone knows his views on women. I don't want to get into that. I would like to, if anyone wants to debate me on that, who's a Tate fan, I'd be very happy to do so. But yeah, fuck it, let's carry on.
And the old dude would say, what kind of guy do you like? And they'd say, oh, I don't know, someone in shape who's rich and young. And I'd be like, no. He's an old dude. You have to say, I'm tired of these young guys messing me around. I need an older guy who's ready to settle down. I don't care if he has money as long as he'll take care of me. If he's a young guy, you say, I'm tired of these old guys perving on me. You need to sell the dream. So I'm training these girls. And it got to the point where it was easier if I just typed myself. So what we ended up doing was we had the 2 girls on camera with a keyboard, which wasn't plugged in, doing this. And then I was behind the screen talking to the dudes, saying the right things, and start dragging money out the internet. And
again, that part's not illegal. That part is normal in the industry. And by the way, just to anyone watching, right? Okay, It's not my cup of tea. I can't be bothered to text people generally. I don't want to sit there having do you want to play with this, that, and the other, right? But if that's what you're into, no problem with it. You want to go talk to some cam girl, bear in mind you're probably talking to a fella, or you're probably talking to someone else, right? Think if you subscribe to Amaranth's OnlyFans or whatever, how many followers does she have? Tens of thousands, millions? You think she is her messaging you? She's not enough hours in the day, even if she did nothing else, right? Talking to her like some complete random. It could be a fat old man. Well, yes, I play with you. Yes, and then you take off my skirt and you touch me. Like, be careful. Be careful.
For me, I mean, this is a long time ago, right? This is about, how old am I now? I'm 34, so I was about 28. So about 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago, right? And making money online nowadays is far more popular than it was even 8 years ago. Who do you know 8 years ago who made money from YouTube or from online?
Yeah,
nobody.
It's just booming. It's just starting.
It's just starting. So when I started dragging money from the internet, it was like...
That's not true. I knew several people, but I've been on YouTube for a long time. Not streaming or making videos, but meaning to and never getting around to it for about the last 15 years. As long as it's been here. So, no, there were some people. I remember back in the old days when people first started like doing it as a job. And you were like, oh shit, this is crazy.
Mind-blowing to me. And I'm sitting there typing, and I'd type 16...
I think The Amazing Atheist was the first person that I saw making like a lot of making money from YouTube, where like he got really big and then he started doing it as his full-time job. I think I'm sure he wasn't the first person. He was just the first one I was directly aware of who was like, oh shit, he was making a lot of money.
17 hours a day, but I'd pull in, let's say, $3,000 a day, $4,000 a day. So that became my new life, right? I went from kickboxer to fucking pretend girl on the internet for about 3 months. I'm just typing until the girls learn. And once the girls learn and they could do it themselves, then I thought, I need some more chicks. And that was kind of the beginning of the cam empire. Yeah, that's how it worked.
What's the most girls you've had working with you?
So here's the problem. Here's what's interesting about it. So the most girls at any one point, I had 4 premises. And I had 75 girls on the books. They weren't all working at once, but I had 75 girls who would do like 1 shift a week or 3 days a week or 7 days a week. 75 women worked for me at the peak of it all. But that was a mistake, because when you have a bunch of girls working for you like that, the only way you can motivate them is with money. And it's better if, when I started, the girls worked for me because they loved me, right? That's the old school pimp game, isn't it? I love this man.
See,
we're on our way to the top.
Why me? He loves it. He loves good. Yeah, I'm a pimp. But it's like, yeah, bro, you when you do that, you're incriminating yourself, right? It's like if you're an international like drug trafficker and you're like, yeah, I'm a narco trafficker. And it's like, bro, shh. No, I traffic drugs across borders. I'm going to do a video. So what I did was I met these people back in Colombia. Now what I want to do is I want a load of money and I want it all tax free. So anyway, I get 3 kilos of cocaine and I start shipping it over to Europe. Yeah. So the main thing you've got to realise is if anyone muscles in your patch, you've got to blow them away. So I'd just kill them, right? Because I'm a murderer. That's literally what he does. That's basically what he's doing. I don't know why he does this. Like, if he'd have just kept stum about all of that, he'd probably have gotten away. That's the funniest thing. Just don't mention it. Don't talk about it. And then definitely don't talk about it and then brag about how you can bribe your way out of it in Romania because it's such a fucking corrupt country and expect them still...
Together, we're going to go Maldives, we're making all this money. You know, it's the old school dream. But when you get too big, you can't have all these girls in love with you. I mean, you can only fuck so much. Like, we're all human, right? So you can't deal with that many women. So then you have to motivate them with money. And if you're trying to motivate a woman with money, it's impossible because, and any feminist will disagree with me, but I'll tell you something. Women are loyal to one thing on the planet. And the only thing they're loyal to is the man they want to have sex with. That is it. If a woman's working for you and she's making 10.
But humans generally, I think this is what just annoys me about all forms of like things like this, is I'm an individualist, right? Humans are individuals. Yeah, you might go, okay, who's more likely to be into kickboxing or like Andrew Tate or any of that stuff? Okay, it's a dude, maybe. But even now, there's plenty of like big, like fair enough, some things like, and a lot of that stuff's cultural. You can look at stuff and go, oh, women might like this or a man might like this. A lot of it's cultural, who cares? But every human, right, should just be treated on their own merits, right? Every single person should just be treated as an individual. And that's why I dislike shit like this. It's not any like, it's not just out of some, I just want to appeal to these values. I just think that if you're a person, right, nobody should go, because you're part of X group, you therefore must be like this, Right? Everybody should be treated as an individual. Do whatever the fuck you like. If you're not hurting anyone else, you do what the fuck you want, right? That's the world I want to live in, right? And everybody treats you as a blank slate until they've got to know you, right? That's the world I want to fucking live in.
10 grand a week. But her man who's banging her is like, I don't want you at that. Who's the fuck is this guy pimping you out? You're there with this dude. He thinks he's something. No, fuck him, quit. They're going to quit. Or he'll say, we can do it together, even though they can't, because there's a whole bunch of people think it's easy, right? It's not easy. You need equipment. You need sort out the tax, the banking. You need to know how to handle the guys. It's not easy to do. So every time there was a girl who I wasn't sleeping with, she never lasted long. So then I had these 4 big premises, all these overheads, all these managers that got out of control. So I cut down to like a special forces team of around 8 girls. And that's where I made my most money. When I had 4 girlfriends, my brother had 4 girlfriends, me, my brother, 8 women living in one house. And all the women adored us. And they obeyed us. And at the peak.
Why are you using words like this? Because you're just incriminating yourself. As you guys like, yeah, we had 4 girlfriends. They obeyed us and did cam work. You're like, oh.
I was turning over 400 grand a month.
With 8 girls?
With 8 girls, yeah.
He's all sleeping with the same girls?
No, so he had his 4, I had my 4. We don't mix. We don't mix.
So how do those 4 girls accept just to be with you? Do those other girls sleep with other people or
Absolutely not. That's cheating, bro. A woman can't do that. That's cheating. It's fine if I do. I'm a man. If a woman sleeps with multiple people, that's cheating. That's absolutely unacceptable on every level. That's unacceptable. And anyone's going to sit here and say, oh, it is acceptable. No, it isn't.
The one-way open relationship thing. And by the way, including these people who are cooks and who fucking love seeing a wife get banged by the people and they're in that kind of a one-way open relationship. I'm totally fine. I've been in open relationships. I think that's fine. I'm cool with it. I would right. But I think when you do the one-way shit, I just don't see how the other person respects you. The open one is respecting the not open one. I feel like do open relationships, do whatever you want, but it's got to be give and take. Right? Even if the other person's got some fetish for it and they love seeing you fuck somebody else, I'm kind of like, if they're not fucking, like, I've done open relationships, I'm totally cool with that shit, but then I'm banging other people and then the other person's banging other people. It's even. It's like, okay, we're in love, we love each other, but the sex we can do with other people, whatever. Right? But just the idea that, oh, it's fine for me. If it's not okay for you as a dude, it's not. If it's not okay for the woman, it's not okay for you. Otherwise, how are you? I mean, like, literally, he's a pimp, so I don't respect him. So
men and women are not the same. We've never been the same. This new think idea that men and women are the same is complete garbage that's been invented, right? For the longest period of human history, men had a role and women had a role. Men have never been faithful, ever. Look at history. Every single king, every single sultan had more than one woman. Look at the history. Read the Bible. It's all.
Yeah, if you're a king, you can probably have affairs and shit like that. But go, oh, people were never faithful. Firstly, if you're the king, you can fuck anyone and no one can do anything, right? Even when you're in really Christian societies and shit. If you're the king, and that goes for queens too, right? Elizabeth I had an affair with, almost certainly with Robert Dudley, but she had all the chambermaids there, so like in the room with her. So everyone's like, oh, you know, they like she couldn't have really fucked him because she was because all the chambermaids were there, and it's like, yeah, but if they'd have said that she sent them out, let alone they saw her fucking riding Robert Dudley's fucking cock, right? Then they should have them tortured into confessing to all kinds of shit. Right? She'd have tortured into confessing to all kinds of shit and then beheaded. So obviously you're not going to speak out. And then after he died, she started fucking his son with another woman, not with her, obviously. Right? And then the son got a bit pissed off with her. They had a huge falling out and she had his head cut off and put it on a spike. So yeah, kings, queens, they can fuck whoever they want. But I'm sorry, like people naturally, human children need a lot of care. This idea that you should be in a relationship with where you're fucking dozens of women and a woman's just faithful to you is stupid on multiple levels, but not least, there's the same number of men as there are women. If men are fucking loads of women, women are fucking loads of men. There's no way it works where all the dudes are banging 20, 30, 40 women and all the women are virgins. It can't happen. It literally can't. The same number of men and women in society, the men are fucking loads of women. Literally, it's impossible the women are not fucking loads of men. Because 1 + 1 always equals 2. It never equals 1. So if you've got 2 people fucking, there's only one person's had sex. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. 1 + 1 equals 2. End of discussion. The men are fucking, the women are fucking. It's that simple. It literally cannot be any other way, again, because 1 + 1 cannot not equal 2.
There. Never in any point in history was there a woman with a bunch of men and that was accepted.
Female promiscuity has always been frowned upon. Since the dawn of human time, it's been frowned upon. In fact, only 100 years ago, you couldn't get married unless you were a virgin. It was the only thing that mattered because it ensures paternity. How else do you know that kid is yours before a paternity test unless she was a virgin? It's the only way to be sure. You understand what I'm saying? So women, for the longest period of human time, the idea of a promiscuous female has been frowned upon and shamed. In half of the world today, it's still shamed. So a woman can't go around fucking people and pretend it's the same as a man running around fucking people.
Again, it can't not happen. It's not possible. Why? Like, when I first like encountered slut shaming and stuff, it just this was what got to me. Yeah, I'd love to pretend no, I was super liberal, and I was immediately like, oh, why are you oppressing people? Why are you trying to take away people's freedom? But really, it was just like, what? But one plus one equals two. Like because I remember like going to bars and meeting women, and you'd be like, oh, I'm going on a date with her on Wednesday, and people, oh, you don't want to go on a date with her. She's a slag. She met you in a bar and she just fucked you, and it's like. But I banged her. She said, yeah, but it's fine. Yeah, it's good for men. Men are supposed to go around baiting with loads of women. Women aren't supposed to sleep with loads of men. And it's like, but how could that? How does that? How can that? What, like one man, one woman, two people, right? If they have sex. They've had sex. I don't know what. It can't happen. It cannot happen that men are fucking loads of women and women aren't fucking loads of men. It's not possible unless you wanted to say, oh no, 10% of women have sex with hundreds upon hundreds of men, and then all the rest of them stay virgins. It's so mental. It's just so mental. Anyway, look, we want to get to the self-incrimination stuff. We're not
a man can only cheat if he loves someone else. If I have a woman who I truly love, and I go out and fuck, and I come back to her, and I don't care about her, and I only love my girl. That's not cheating. That's exercise. If she even talks to a dude, it's cheating. Because females are emotionally invested. I have no emotional investment. So no, I'm making this very, very clear. Any woman who was with me never even, the only men they spoke to besides me were my brother, and the guys online who were paying them.
Yeah, you see, that also, by the way, is like technically quite abusive, right? If you like, you won't let them talk to any of the dudes. Personally, I've never understood that insecurity. I know I'm weird because I've done open relationships and I don't give a shit. Like, if the person loves me, I can give a fuck as long as I'm banging other people. I don't care, right? But that's I'm strange like that. That's a weird thing. Most people I've encountered aren't like that. Okay, but I've never got the thing of like, oh no, if my wife's even talking to another dude, it's like, well, okay, like, don't you trust her? Because there's kinds of talking. Obviously, if you see your wife with another dude, she's all like, hey. It's like, well, what's going on, right? But if she's like, no. She's like, yeah. So anyway, the other day I went swimming. There's actually a really good gym, down the blah, blah, right? And you're getting insecure about that. That's your issue, bro. Come on. Why are you scared of that? Like, what threat is that random dude to you? Like, you shouldn't be threatened by one dude speaking to them necessarily. Again, like, it depends. But like, I don't understand that. I just don't understand how you can be still like, that dude's talking to my wife, or that dude's talking to my girlfriend. Oh, they're gonna bang. Like, why aren't you just like, there's no threat to me? That seems to be, if you want to go into masculinity, let him talk to her. She fucking loves me. Like, she's not gonna fucking like be on his dick when she can be on mine. That sounds like the more masculine macho shit to do. Even with traditional like masculinity, that seems more macho, right?
That is it.
We don't watch this whole podcast. I just want to do
they got fired.
And these women are obey you. How does that happen? How do you get that to happen?
You get that to happen through showing competence. If every single thing in life is a value exchange, every single thing in life, even friendships are a value exchange. You think of who your best friend is, right? You gain something and he gains something through your interaction, right? Either it makes you feel happy or he can help you with some things or you help each other. Every single thing in life is a value exchange. So I have to provide value for these women for them to want to be with me. You can't just be some jackass. People have this idea that, oh, you're a pimp. You just get these girls and you say work and they're scared of you and they just work. It's bullshit. I was doing this in London. A girl could have walked out the door any day, called the police on me any day.
Yeah, this is he's literally explaining now why pimps use shit like the Loverboy method, right? So it's true. If you're smacking somebody about, then go to the police, they've got bruises, they've got this. No, you do what he did. You get in their head, right? That's why the Loverboy method's illegal, because it's a well-known method of pimping, right? She's like, why would you even say this? Why wouldn't you just keep completely quiet about all of these tactics? Why would you go and boast about it, where you literally call yourself a pimp? Right? It's like if he'd done a load of burglaries, right, and that was how he initially made his money, keep quiet about the burglaries. They'll go, yeah, as a burglar, I used to go into people's houses. Now, you don't want to make a lot of noise and smash windows. Really what you want to do is try and pickpocket the fella and steal his keys. And then, like, why? Why would you do that? Just don't say it.
Hey. And they didn't. They wanted to be with me because they genuinely understood that their life was better if they obeyed me. They genuinely trusted me. And they genuinely also understood that if they're going to be with any kind of high value man, he's going to fucking cheat anyway. So why hide it? Isn't it easier to know the bitch? Isn't it easier to at least suck her tits a bit and join in? Like, what's the point in pretending you're with a guy and pretending he's loyal and he's out doing whatever anyway? There's no difference. So I know it seems like extremely, it seems extreme. But these girls are making good money. They're living a very good life. They're with a man they love.
I think this is what he tells the women. Oh, all high value man cheat. The thing is, most women don't regard a guy who's just going to like fuck dozens of other women and not give a fuck about them and be with like 12 other girls working in a cam business as a high value dude. I remember there was an interview Hugo Rifkin from the Times did with him where he said that, Tate had said to him, oh yeah, but you're not like a high value man. Like you could get a 19-year-old beauty queen from Dubai to come and like sleep with you. And he's like, I'm a 45-year-old man. I'm married with 2 kids. I don't really think getting a 19-year-old from Dubai would be high value behavior. I think that's pretty low value behavior, which is like a good point. And again, you speak to most women, like most women don't regard guys who behave like this as high value. Right, unless they're the sort of girls that he preys upon with the low self-esteem and the stuff like that, or they just want a load of money and fame. There's plenty of women who he's got the gift of the gab. You go out with Andrew, he's not going to be coming out with all this sexist stuff, right? He's funny, he makes jokes, he's full of confidence. Yeah. I imagine some girls probably do like
these other girls were their best friends, and it was a pretty happy environment overall. I had to do a lot of policing because when you're the patriarch of that kind of environment, you do have to do a lot of policing. But all in all, there was no disrespect in the house. There was no arguments in the house. I wouldn't tolerate a negative environment. That's bad for business. There's not going to be any Debbie Downer around pissing everyone off because they're not going to smile on cam. So it was a very happy interaction. And my girls just understood, look, I'm fucking all of you. If you don't like it, leave.
What's your opinion on equal rights, women, men, 50-50?
I don't think the world has ever been equal. I think this whole idea of equal rights. I do believe we should have equal rights under the law, right? I'm not saying that women should completely and utterly be slaves. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the modern society we live in has been built by men. Let's cut the crap. All the roads you see, all the buildings you see, everything around you, men built. All of it. When women come along and say, oh, we're just as important, you are just as important, but you had a completely different role. You fulfilled a different role.
Didn't Andrew Tate grow up in the 80s in Britain, which was like pretty much, like, to be fair, pretty fucking negatively by Margaret Thatcher, right? Like, just saying, like a lot of that shit causes the quite bad shit that goes on in modern society from the whole fucking Thatcher-Reagan era and their Milton Friedman-inspired free market bullshit ideology that they then justified with their insane social conservatism. But still.
Role in society. And I think now, if you look at the roles of society, I believe men are still doing their job, but I don't know if women are doing their job. Women's job always was procreation, to look after them. I think a man's role on this planet is also another thing that we need to redefine to some degree. Why do men give up their lives for work? Is it just for money, or is it because they feel important and they feel like they're conquering? This is what I'm saying. Men have that drive inside of them.
So when he's talking about the important shit.
And this is since the dawn of human time. Why did I fight? Why did men climb Mount Everest? Why did the Romans melt rocks, make swords, and walk in random directions to find somebody, anybody?
They didn't walk in random directions. I really just wish people pay attention to history. People love history and biology are some things people love to make up. They just make shit up. Like, having as well, especially studied biology at university and done a master's and shit in it, like that one really does my head in. Because it's like, people spend years researching to have a good understanding. And you can go read their research, and you can go read books about the research that simplify it for you, right? But you don't want to do that. You want to make shit up. Anyway, I just want to get to the sex trafficking stuff. So we're not doing a whole Andrew Tate deep dive.
That way. Some men are born with something else inside.
Is that it? Is that it of him boasting about the sex trafficking stuff?
One bucket of money. Would you just take that bucket, or would you run back and get another bucket and run back and run? I couldn't stop. I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up to go piss at 3 a.m, take a piss, and by the time I finished pissing, I'd be like,
I've slept 3 hours, that's enough. And wake the chicks up and put them back online. I couldn't get out of my brain because I saw that. I'd replaced fighting, which I loved, with this. And this was my chance to escape the Matrix. Bro, this has been inside of me since as early as I can remember. I remember walking to sixth form college. I was 16 or 17 with my 4 friends, and a Ferrari burnt past us. I said to my boys, I was like, man, how'd that guy get that car? And they're like, don't know. I was like, doesn't that annoy you? I'm like, why would it annoy me? Because we're going to school. Our parents are on council estates. Like, we're trying to scrape 20 pounds a week.
Getting that mentality where it annoys you so much that you're going to do anything for money isn't good. Getting drive, getting determination, wanting to do stuff, right? But when you see the guy in the Ferrari and that's getting to you, it's getting to you. You need it, you need it, you need it to get that money. It's just, yeah. Anyway.
Week to eat. This dude has 400 grand for a car.
To be fair, I've never done it. I've never done a full tape. It is quite interesting going over some of his ideology, but I want to focus on the self-incrimination shit.
Aggravate you? Doesn't that show you that there's something about the world you do not understand? That you're missing something? And they're all like, not really. And they're all the dudes who are right now at home, 9 to 5, couple blowjobs, da-da-da. I was never that guy. I was pissed off for weeks because I saw some dude in his Ferrari. Do you understand? I was like, no, I have to. So now when I push my Ferrari, I'm like, this is the full circle. This is the universe giving me what I've always been manifesting.
Shit, just stop. Don't get it wrong. Nice cars are good. If you like cars, you've got a lot of money, you want to have a car. But don't obsess about shit like that, or you'll end up doing something crazy like being a pimp, right? And then fucking yourself. So don't sit there. This is why I say, because with a lot of other red pill dudes, it's easy to see the insecurity. With someone who's gone against world-class fighters, who's a fighter, okay, this guy's got some bravery, right? To then see, okay, but then why is he insecure? It's shit like this. It's like the idea that someone's got something and he hasn't, just fucks with him and eats with him. And listen, that drive can be good. It can be good to be like, I want that, I want to do the drive. But when you're obsessing over it, you'll do anything to get that big money. You'll do anything to get that kind of cash, right? And that's when you get yourself into these kind of situations, right? You need to be careful.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So now when people say, Andrew, why do you have 17 supercars? Because I have 17. I have every brand you can fucking name. I have 17 cars. I have over $10 million of cars. So because it was a car, these cars used to piss me off. So now I have to have them all. I don't even drive them. I have to have them. I'm trying to conquer the earth, my friend. Maybe I'm crazy, but this is what I'm trying to do.
See, this vision of conquest as well.
It was what I've always been trying to do, so I've never been satisfied.
This vision of conquest is shit. Conquer the world politically. Make some huge, sweeping, fucking incredible political change, right? Whatever your politics, I don't give a shit if you're right, left, whatever, right? Make a change. Get into, government. Make a real difference. Don't sit around there, telling a load of kids about your fucking Ferraris.
This day, I'm making more money now than I was making in my cam days. I'm still not happy. But I don't judge my life on happiness. I don't look at it that way. I look at all the other human metrics and say, where am I failing? Am I in good shape? Yeah. Am I rich? Yeah. Do I have good friends, good connections? Yeah. Do I do whatever I want? Am I free? Tick, 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 tick. Well, fuck it then. Then life's fine. You know?
What makes you unhappy?
So now we're going to go to the other end of the spectrum. I don't believe in unhappy. I believe, okay, let me word it this, not distraught.
I just want to get to self-incrimination stuff, so not this whole 2-hour Andrew Tate thing. To just pick out the cherry bits from the arrest. Which
Sharks want me dead. I've got enough enemies. Why am I going to take my own power away? And this is what people really don't yet understand. There's only one thing on the planet you actually have control over. You can't control the weather. You can't control your health. You can get a brain aneurysm or a heart attack. You can't control other people. The only thing you can actually really truly control is what you think. That's the only thing you can change in real time. You can be thinking of red and change it to blue. So why are you not controlling your own mind? It's your asset. It's your ally. It's your friend. Why would you make an enemy out of the only thing you have control over? I did for them. I was getting very small from these girls because these are the girls who I had no romantic interest in. That was the first thing. So they were abrasive. They were idiots. And the second thing is the man they're sleeping with is always like, hey, why the fuck are you working for this guy? We can do this ourselves. You can do this yourself. Fuck him. He's exploiting you. Because they don't want the fucking girl working for me, right? And what's amazing is every single time a girl quit, because we had a professional setup, because we had expertise, it's like a podcast, bro. You have a podcast. If someone were to go, I could do a podcast, go on then. And then you'll see them fail, right? So these girls would be working for me, making 10 grand a month. and they'd be keeping $8,000. I took $2,000. They'd quit, try and do it with their boyfriend, make $1,000 a month, and then quit. Every single one who stopped working for me ended up failing and begging for her job back. 100% rate, right? So what I started doing is, me and the other girls, I started having firing girls parties. Because what I wanted to do is I understood the psychology of women, and women as a whole are absolutely group thinkers. Females are sheep. Everyone says women are complicated. No, they're not.
Most of Tate's fans hang on his every fucking word. They're mostly men. Hang on his every fucking word, right? Right, will not, again, as we watched today, the Brow's literally incriminated himself and got videos talking about how he's a pimp, how he traffics women, how he controls them, how he does all of this shit, how he takes money from them, how he evades tax. And no, he never did it, he didn't do it, he did nothing wrong. It's the Matrix, man. No, because Andrew said it. Bro, like, most people are fucking sheep, I'm sorry. Most people are just... Most people, I think a lot of people, especially people with insecurity, act like sheep. This is why when he's preying on insecure women, I'm sure they probably do act like that. This is why when a lot of insecure men start following him and start like worshipping him, I'm sure again they act like sheep. Right? Sometimes people do this, yeah. They do this thing where they're like, women do this and men do, and it's like, but everyone does that. It's like an everyone thing. It's just something like, you know. So people go, well, women think emotionally. I'm like, as somebody who like tries hard not to think emotionally, most humans are super emotional, and everything they believe is based off emotion and what suits them, right? And that's just humans.
Women are extremely simple. Women are programmable. Women are blank slates, and they're programmed. And they're either programmed by you as a man, or they're programmed by society. The good wife who obeys her man and cooks for him and cleans for him has been programmed by her man. The woman who goes, I don't need no man, I'm a feminist, that has been programmed by society, by the BBC. They're programmed. They're all born.
It's the BBC.
Born blank, and someone inserts the programming, right? So with my women, because of groupthink, every single time a girl would get fired or quit, we'd have a party. And when you'd have a party about a girl quitting, all the girls would stand around and laugh. Oh, she's going to end up asking for her job back. She doesn't appreciate what Andrew did for her. Ha, 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 da, da, da. And then girls didn't want to quit because they knew there'd be a party about them. And they didn't want there to be a party about them. Do you understand? I had girls come to me saying, look, I have to leave. I'm sorry. I really have to leave. Please don't throw a party about it. Like, 'cause they were so scared of all the girls who used to know them, like mocking them behind their back. So we had like this group think thing going on. But this is how women are programmed to as a whole. Even out here in society, bro. Who are the strongest advocates for this corona crap? Women. Women are the easiest to program. You could trick women all day long.
Like, I've literally just never heard that. Wasn't it governments? Wasn't it governments and weren't they mostly like made up of men? Like, I think of like who? Who are all these women and all the guys are like, oh no, corona doesn't matter. So hard.
Right? But I wasn't tricking anyone. I was just saying, look, you can make a bunch of money. I never exploited anybody. I never hit a girl. I never hurt nobody. I never...
Like, what do you think exploitation means? Like, we've heard him say all the shit that he did, all the shit he's admitting to, and it's like, I never exploited anyone. And like, again, I think in his mind, because even he wouldn't be admitting to this if he knew it was like as illegal as it is, right? So I think in his mind, so, well, I never exploited them. I just, told them I was in love with them. And again, because of the way, this is why, one of the reasons why, like, actually some of the shit he says about women is relevant. Because of the way he thinks about them, oh, they just have to be controlled. They have to do whatever I say, blah, blah, blah. Like, you actually don't actually end up realizing you're doing a load of illegal shit because you just think, well, this is how you treat women. But actually you're doing some seriously illegal shit. And then you're going, well, see, this is how you control women. And don't realize you're doing like a live confession all over the fucking internet.
I didn't even have to raise my voice. I was a positively inspirational and motivating person. I was a pimp. I made them feel happy doing what they did. They liked working for me.
Himself.
So that was it as a whole. It was a very happy environment. There was no slavery element. You're not going to get a girl to work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week by being mean to her.
Yes, why you do that?
There's a lot of stuff online. I think they say like 80% of the girls are sexually abused and shit like that. So there's always going to be question marks or people doing webcam porn and stuff like that.
And I know that. But I really do think that with porn, I don't know because I've never run a porn business. I think if a girl turns to porn, then she's had a hard life. Why would you want to be rallied left, right, and center by who fuck knows who on camera? I think there's something wrong with that. I don't think that's a natural feminine mindset. I don't think any woman who's normal in her brain wants that. I think that's wrong. But with Cam, I genuinely had girls who worked for me who had like had a boyfriend for 10 years or only slept with 2 men in their lives. It's just pixels on a screen, bro. Like it's not like people imagine it to be. It's just like a 99% of cam is a cam girl is much more a therapist than she is a porn star. Like she can make so much money from showing her tits, whatever, but she makes the big money from making these guys like her, being funny, banter, having good friends, messing around. I had girls who would paint pictures and paint and sell the painting. I had girls who played piano. It was not as sexual as people think it was. It was very much like guys fell in love with.
Yeah, it didn't work. This is why I think a lot of these businesses, even all the legit ones, there's no trafficking, this, that, and the other. I think a lot of them defraud men, right? So I think even if it's being done well, even if all the women are treated in the OnlyFans or the cam and they're doing it all themselves and it's all the nicest, least, like there's no oppression of anyone, there's no Andrew Tate pimping them out there, right? I still think like there's a lot of this weird like parasocial shit to get guys to give you loads of money when half the time, again, they're not even speaking to the real woman. She's just making money. Like, it gets really weird. Like, it starts to get... Because even, like, streamers, right? You think if they were doing this whole relationship with individual followers who were then giving them £500 tips, this, that, and you'd start to think, oh, that's messed up. So let alone if they're doing it in a sexual way where they're almost, like, convincing these lonely incels that they're like their girlfriend. Like, so I actually think the industry itself is it's kind of fucked. The whole, cam, OnlyFans stuff, it kind of just get a bit messed up.
Them on the internet. They're
How
just
long does it last?
From the perspective of the dudes using it, even if you're the big Tate fan, you don't care about women, right? From the perspective of the dudes using it, it's not good.
Last for somebody to pay, is it a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes?
Man, it wasn't even about privates like that. It was if you're a good girl and you're very good at the job and you'd get loyal fans who really loved you, they'd be there every single day and they wouldn't even be buying your time. They'd just be donating money.
What's the worst thing you've seen a man wanting to see?
Worst?
Yeah.
You know, and that's another thing, because there's rules on these websites. They can't ask for bestiality. They can't ask for kiddie shit. They can't ask for anything too weird.
So, shitting in a shoe.
Nah, none of that shit. They're not allowed to ask for that. I've had some funny ones. We had a guy, one of my best girls had a guy called Paul. I think he was from Scotland. Do you know any Scottish guys called Paul?
I know a few.
Okay, so here's what Paul's up to. So Paul sent her $500. Just tipped it to her. Bang, $500. Please, can you buy some gummy bears? So she bought some gummy bears. And the next day he said, okay, here's what I want you to do. And he took her private and he was paying $5 a minute for this. And I think all in all, he was on there for another $500 worth. This is a $1,000 interaction. He got the girl to line up all the gummy bears and pretend they were him and all his friends. Right? And she's sitting there with her tits out and all the gummy bears. And she'd have to pick up one of the friends and like, he looks tasty. And then Paul would be like, please don't eat my friend. Please don't eat my friend. And he'd be...
Oh, you see some strange stuff going on. Have you ever seen that? There's this thing. Maybe we'll have a little look at it after this. Of women dressing like clowns all of a sudden on Twitter. It started like, I keep getting suggested from them. And I don't know why, because I don't follow any clowns. Right? I saw a woman on a debate with Destiny the other day done up like a clown. What? And it's just like all of a sudden, the least sexy thing you could possibly think. When now suddenly it's this fetish. Ooh, look, juggling. Oh, what? Like, there's a lot of Michigan game in the world.
She'd be like, but he looks good. Please, please, please don't. And you'd see him on camera. He's like jerking off. Please, please, please don't. And she'd like put him in her tits, whatever. And then she'd like lick him. And he's literally about to come everywhere from this. Eventually, she starts chewing his friend, eating his friend. And he loved it. Please, no, please stop eating me. Please stop eating me. Until she's eaten all the friends. And then it's down to Paul, isn't it? He's the last guy. And he said, please don't eat me. Please, I'll do anything. Please, I'll give you more money. Please don't eat me. She's like, no, I'm going to eat you. I'm going to eat you. And after about 2 minutes of threatening to eat him, she chews Paul and he comes all over the place. So, I mean, you got that kind of thing. It's a bit weird, but it's funny. Like, who gives a shit, right? The girl thinks it's funny. No one took it that seriously. The idea that these women on webcam are like sexually abused or forced to do it or... That's wrong. I literally had a girl who was a waitress in Nando's who just wanted more money and came and did it and thought it was funny and talked to Paul and his bullshit. And a bunch of men in America fell in love with her and they didn't even know her real name. And she made a bunch of money. It can be that cool. I'm telling you. I can assure you because I lived it.
How do you recruit people for you? Do you go on the streets and pick girls, Tinder?
Just me and my brother were living our lives. We lived a very good life. We attracted female attention. We're pushing Lamborghinis. We're living a good life. And every time we dated a girl, we'd just say, look, do you want to do this? And if they said no, we'd say, okay, cool. If they said yes, we'd say, okay, cool. That was it. We were the head recruiters.
Have you ever been in love?
Absolutely.
Have you?
I completely believe in love. This is the thing.
What is love to you?
I'm not
saying that guy doesn't believe that. Have you? Okay, what is love to you, Andrew? Even though I don't know this guy, but it seems like he's on Tate's side to some degree. Have you? Because come on, like, what? I don't. Whatever Andrew Tate has been in, I don't see how you could treat people the way he does and think the way he does, and it actually be love, right? Like that's not even like.
Completely believe in love. I'm a massive advocate for love. I'm a massive advocate for
having 6 girls,
men and women being in love with each other. I'm not one of them evil predators or one of them playboys who thinks women are just for sex. Not at all. If you're sick, if you're sick in bed, the first thing you do is call a woman, right? You don't call your boys when you're sick in bed, or you call a woman, right? Like there's a very sacred interaction between men and women. I love the idea of family. I love the idea of children. I love the idea of being in love with a woman. I love the idea of her loving me. I just don't see why I should only love one. I don't see why I can't love 5.
Have you ever been heartbroken?
Yeah, when I was younger, like 18, 19, everyone's been heartbroken, right?
How did that affect you? Do you think that plays a part on the way, people see you as a womanizer, a playboy?
Yeah, but this is the thing. I really, truly, truly believe that I'm just very honest. I don't think I'm any worse than most other men. I just think I tell the truth. I
think you'd have to though, wouldn't you? Right? I think a lot of those guys say, "Oh, I'm the same as with the dudes." Like, bro, I'm sorry. Like, it's just not true. Yeah, there are plenty of other guys that are sleeping with loads of that are cheating on the wife who doesn't to women. Yeah, of course. Like, yeah, but that's not all dudes. Like some people are like most people. I'm sorry, are genuinely like they love someone, they're with them, they're not trying to fuck like dozens of other people and cheat on them left, right, and centre. Right? That's why generally in a relationship, most people consider it really bad. Right? And that gets to men and women. Right? Most women, you're in a relationship with them, you're cheating on them left, right, and centre, they're going to be furious. Right? And a lot of that, like, I don't think most people do like go around. Ignore the trafficking, ignore all that shit. Trying to be a playboy, being like, why can't I love 5 women? Why can't I do all of this? Don't get me wrong. I know dudes like that. I know dudes that I know 100% are going to cheat on every single fucking person they're with. None of them are as disrespectful to women as Tate. But it happens. But yeah, like I feel like this is just like a cope. Yeah, that's exactly the fucking shit I was looking for. I feel like this is a cope, right? Where Tate's coping that now all of the guys are like this, all of the guys feel like this about women. I can't possibly be a dick. It's like,
I think I've realized that cheating and hiding is too much fucking work. Just to say, look, my dear, I love you with all my heart. We're going to be together forever. I fucked that bitch. Yeah, my clothes stink of perfume. I'm sorry. I don't even know her name. Whatever.
And what do your girlfriends say?
I mean, they can either go crazy and leave or they can not go crazy and stay. Like, it's a binary decision, right? And I think that what people really don't, when I say this, people really don't believe it. They say, oh, but that means the girl doesn't really love you. That's not true. If she didn't really love me, she'd leave. She completely loves me. What women are looking for is women want to feel special. Sexual exclusivity is how a woman proves to a man that that man is special to her. You are my man, so I only sleep with you, right? And what we've done in the modern world is saying, so we'll reverse it. For a woman to be special, to prove she's special, you have to only sleep with her.
I'm sorry, that's not the modern world. Like, dude, I was raised in like Orthodox Judaism. That shit's fucking strict. Like, he said he's become a Muslim. It's the same shit. You can't be alone with a woman. You can't like touch woman, like even shake their hand if you're not married to her, or it's like your mum or something, right? Like, it's really fucking strict. Like, a lot of religions, a lot of cults are really fucking strict on this. The idea that it was, oh no, it's always been the way that men fuck, again, which is impossible. That men are fucking loads of women and the women are all virgins, number one. But number two, the idea, men have always just cheated left, right, and centre. Like, no, it was really unacceptable to even be fucking outside of marriage, like, not that long ago. I don't think that was good. I'm totally for do whatever the fuck you like. As long as it's consensual, it's adults, who cares? Not my business. Right? But, you know, I've said this a while ago on the stream. I remember talking to my grandparents, and my grandma goes, oh, you know, well, why haven't you got a wife? You know, me and you got, my grandfather goes, why haven't you got a wife yet? You know, me and your grandmother, we were together from when we were 17, and my grandma's not like they are today. My granddad goes, oh, I know. You know, you didn't go with a woman in our day unless you were married to her. And it's like, because in his day, in the 1950s, when my granddad was young, right, it wasn't okay for a guy to be like fucking left, right, and centre, let alone cheating on his wife. If a guy was getting married and he's had sex with like 4 women, people would think he was crazy. People view him in the same way as a lot of people view a woman who's been with like 200 dudes now, right? It's just like, oh, it might have been worse for a woman, maybe the way it was viewed, but like people were not cool with that, right? Of course, I'm sure famous people were doing it or something, but it was behind closed doors. No one was supposed to know about it. And if they did know, they'd be shocked, right? It was shocking for people to know that there's a man fucking loads of dudes. Women, sorry. But back then, I think they're pretty much shocked by that too. But, yeah, so it's just not true.
If she knows she's special in other ways, then she doesn't give a fuck what you do. And this is really not revolutionary. What I say, people are going to be all in the comments going, his girls are sluts or his girls don't really love him. That's not true. I know my women love me. I know they've been loyal to me. I've had two of my girls who started with me at the beginning, 8 years. I'm still with to this day. So if you go to Russia, for example, when you're a high value man, do you think these mafia guys in Russia are loyal? You think Putin's loyal?
Oh, yeah. Well, great example. No, I don't think he is. I think he's had numerous affairs. He's got all kinds of illegitimate children. But that's because these guys are gangsters. Like, this is what I mean when you're trying to say he's innocent. Look at what he compares himself to. He compares himself to, like, gangsters. Not like, hypothetical, rappers, whatever. Like, no, he's actual, proper Russian mafia, killers, people corrupt, shady motherfuckers. Yeah, I bet they cheat on the wives. 100%. But what the fuck's that got to do with anything?
These big boys? No! I mean, this is accepted over there. If you speak to a Russian girl, she's like, he's rich. Of course he has his fun, but I'm his wife. It's normal, completely normal. It's only in countries like America and England where a woman's going to go, I would never take that. I'd never accept that. Oh, you're going to let a man pay for your entire life. You're going to push a merc. You're going to have this fucking big G. But if he talks to some bitch one night while he's out drunk, you're going to fucking pretend that that's the worst thing in the world. That's Western bullshit feminist thinking. If you remove the feminism element, that doesn't exist in most places in the world. You go to Russia and live in Russia, every single high-level guy...
Because it's corrupt. That's not like a traditional Russian thing. Go speak to the Russian, like an Orthodox priest, and go, isn't it actually okay if I'm cheating on my wife left, right, and centre in Russia? And they'll go, no, it's fucking disgraceful. Like, this is the point. That's more modern shit that goes on. Or to be fair, with, a lot of rich people and, really powerful people, sometimes this stuff was going on. You might get the lord who fucks his servants, but... even then, those societies were super Christian. So if it got out that he was doing that, that wasn't okay. Yeah, the king could make sure it never came out. The Lord couldn't. It really wasn't good if people thought you were fucking. Because again, these were devout Christians who would burn you at the stake if you said anything against the church. Right?
Guy has fucking 3 or 4 mistresses, all of them.
Do you have kids?
Do I have kids? If I had kids, I wouldn't say on the podcast.
But if you had a daughter, say,
yep.
How would you feel if she came in with a man like you? Be honest.
Okay, and this is the thing, and I'm going to actually be completely honest here. I really try and base my worldviews on brutal realism. I try and be a realist, even if it's hard to be a realist. If that man made her happy, good.
See, I would cut his fucking dick off.
Well, this is and I know, and I understand that. But if she were to say, look, he does what he does, but I really love him. And I was like, does he hurt you? No, he doesn't hurt me, and I'm happy with him. Then I'd be like, as long as you're happy.
But it's double standards, isn't it? Why am I like that, though? Why
of course it's double standards. Of course it's double.
All the shit that I've done, but yet I don't want my daughter to get treated like that. That's why I try to make some changes to see the world differently, to not hurt people's feelings. And it's...
But why has it got to hurt people's feelings?
I don't know, man.
But this is what I mean. I don't think it does.
As fuck, can't we?
I don't think it does. I really...
Yeah, I want to get... Come on, let's get on. Let's get into trafficking. I said I wasn't going to get bogged down in this views on women. It's not relevant. We just want the confessions. I wish there was just an Andrew Tate confession compilation that we could just go through without having to deal with all of this shit.
That the West is on a serious moral and economic decline.
It might have done all the shit, incriminating himself. Oh, cause I think he goes over all of the cam stuff and all of where he does it. It's just we've got to find all these tidbits that are stuck in all of this discussion he's got of women and this and that. Right? It's not easy. Jesus Christ, I'm dying here. It's fucking hot.
Is going to be dating you, she is genuinely considering if there's a future for marriage and babies, because they still have that element of society where women are respected as a mother. They want to be mothers. So if you have no money, why would they want a family with you? They're not going to have a good life, are they? So they are gold diggers, not in a gold digger, give me a handbag way. They're in a, can this man financially provide for me to have a family from him? I don't want to go work for €300 a month.
because that's what I'm going to get. Can this man pay for me? So yeah, they do respect money, but they're much harder to sleep with. So Russia or Moldova. But so I'm saying that now because if any guy goes, oh, Russian women, I'm going to go over there. You're not going to fucking slam nothing same night. You're going to be out. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. They're very difficult. You have to date them for a long time. You know, they want to go on lots of dates. They want to really know you. It's harder over there. And Moldova, I wouldn't go to because Moldova is probably the most hostile place I've ever been. I've been there 3 times and was attacked twice.
Why is that?
Because they are super right-wing nationalist. And you know what's crazy? Even though they attacked me, I respect them for it. So me and my brother were walking down Chisinau, Moldova. It's 2 a.m. We had these 3 girls with us. We're walking. We're talking to the girls in English. And this guy goes, oh, American. I go, hi. He goes, oh, you come here to bang bang. We're like, what? You come here porno. Yeah, you come here porno. And by the time they knew, Americans have come to this shithole country to fuck our women. Why else am I there? Why else would I be in Chisinau, Moldova? It's not for all the beautiful girls. They knew exactly why I was there. I knew why I was there. Everyone understood the interaction. And the Moldovan men are just like, fuck you. We're not going to let you come here and just bang our women. Why would we? They're super, super nationalistic, super, super right wing. And that's happened to me twice. They came, they punched me. I took it. They punched my brother. We got them all on one side because we had them surrounded. We're like, okay, we're leaving. Sorry. we're leaving. My brother speaks Romanian. They speak Romanian and Russian. My brother said, we're not tourists in Romanian, which threw him off a little bit. And we got in the taxi. And we said to the girls, come get in the taxi. So the girls still came with us. We got in the taxi. Tristan's lips bleeding a little bit, nothing too big. We got back to the hotel and went to the hotel. The girls started telling the hotel receptionist what happened. And then what was scary is the hotel receptionist started to panic. We're like, because it was a woman. She's like, oh, what car were they in? And I was like, a BMW. She goes, oh, because over there, the average wage in Moldova is like $200 a month. Having a BMW is a big deal, right? Like, oh, they had a BMW. Oh, they might be mafia guys. They're going to come here. They're going to come after you. They're going to come after you. And we're like, well, how are they going to know that we're here? And the receptionist says, the taxi now is going to go back to them and say for a tip, they'll tell them you're here. I'm here by myself. And she started really having like a panic attack. I was like, well, call the police then. She goes, no. She didn't want to call the police. Don't know why. So now me and Tristan are scared. The whole interaction, it was just reaction, right? We weren't really scared. And once we're in the taxi, we're like, whatever. But now we're scared because the receptionist is panicking. This is 4 a.m. on a Saturday morning. And we're sitting there and we looked on the thing and there was a flight back to Romania, which is generally safe, at 6 a.m. So we just packed and bailed. It was like, all right, well, shit, let's get out of here. And twice similar stories have happened to me in Moldova. So Moldovans are super, super protective of their people and their culture. And then sometimes I walk through London and look at all the problems we have here and I have to respect them. Because they won't let anyone go there and fucking fuck around with them or disrespect them or fuck their women or nothing. And the girls there are 10 out of 10. They're fucking beautiful, but they're kind of trapped there and the men won't let us go there. So, but I respect them. I really respect them as men. If I were to meet those guys who jumped me, I'd shake his hand. I'd be like, I get it. You own
casinos as well?
Yes. So in Romania.
About Muslim Andrew Tate with his gambling empire. No, we're coming to.
I have 15 branches of a casino. There's no live dealers. It's back into what we're.
I just want to get past the casino stuff because we're mainly focusing on the stuff that's got him into
massive sign up saying free coffee. And I had a really cute little waitress and I bought a very expensive coffee machine. And what happened is because the line for Starbucks was so long, the dudes would go, well, I'll just go get free coffee in there. And then they'd gamble their $5 instead of buy the coffee. And the girl was always pretty. She was instructed to flirt with them and make the nice coffees. And I started to make a lot of money. And for about 6 months, I was top of the world. And I ordered a Bugatti Chiron, paid for one of them.
That's on about $1 million.
Yeah, that's 4.2.
What?
4.2.
4.2 million.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah. So
I need to get into the casino game.
I bought a Bugatti Chiron. That's my 18th car. That's on the way. I already have every other car there is. And then Corona came. So, I'm okay for money, of course. But then Corona came and shut me all down because they've closed everything. Romania's, I probably shouldn't say this on the internet, but I'm going to. Romania's completely corrupt from head to toe, right? So when Corona came, through fighting and through these things, I have a very, very extensive network in Romania. I like to make this very clear. One of the reasons I love living there so much is because I'm at the very top echelon of society. If I need to speak to the prime minister, I can make that happen, right? I can't do that in the West. Yeah. So we went and met with some members of parliament and they're like, well, it's not us. It's European Union directed all of this COVID lockdown garbage. They knew COVID was a scam. They knew it. Everyone knew it. European Union told us to. They gave us billions in relief.
Yeah, it was a scam perpetrated by every country in the world, including like ones that are hostile, like America and China. Come on. the way COVID denialists talk about
funds,
it's just fucking ridiculous.
relief funds, bribes to listen. So we can't really open them. You can open them if you don't put the outside lights on and you just like on the sly. So I did a deal with them to open them on the sly and pay bribes. So I was open for like the first month.
Why are you admitting about bribes? You paid the fucking government to breach European Union law when they're trying to get on the European Union's. I'm sorry, he's got himself into a lot of this bother. Not just by the crimes he's done, but also just by the like going on TV, going, yes, basically, I mean, the Romanians, they really want to cozy up to the European Union, but I just bribed them. Bro, you like making it, you literally turning yourself into a liability for Romania. You're going to stop taking your money. Oh, look, they did.
He wants some.
Do not do this. If you are bribing officials, never mention it. Don't ever talk about it. Don't tell anyone. Maybe tell your best friend in the world if you trust them. But just don't say anything. Even then, don't tell them. Even you know what? You want your best friends to think, oh, they're accusing me. I would never bribe anyone. Why like go? Yeah, they're so corrupt. I go next is basically a shithole and I can bribe anyone. I could bribe the Prime Minister. I could get him to come see me if I want. Yeah, they're gonna fuck you. They're just gonna fuck you if you do that. Don't do that.
And the police chief would call his mate, who's the fucking, I don't know, fire inspector, some jackass. He'd come. Then the alcohol licensing man would come. It was just like everyone's got on the phone, like, hey, this casino's still open. They'll pay you to go away. So before you know it, every 5 minutes, someone's in the door for money, and we weren't making money, so we had to close down. So we've been closed we're still closed to this day. We're still waiting to be reopened, and nobody feels sorry for the casino owner. It's kind of hard to play the pity card. My business has gone under. Everyone's like, who gives a shit? Fuck you. You got sheer on. So I'm just stuck here right now. So I'm just living my life traveling the world. So
when you're buying your cars and stuff, is it still the same fulfillment? Is it still the same happiness? Or is it just, nah?
I love cars, right? But you know what? I'd be happy without any cars. Yeah. I'd be happy without any money, man. I would be happy.
Did you always be like that though?
No, I was always driven. As long as I felt like I was getting somewhere, I was happy. And if you took it all away from me now, I would start to make progress again. If I lost everything today back to flat zero, by tomorrow I'd be making some progress, even if I had £1 as opposed to zero. As long as I feel like I'm doing something, I'm happy. This is how life works, right? If you even let's take cars. You're driving at 200 miles an hour. You don't feel it. It's accelerating to 200 miles an hour that you feel. You don't feel once you're doing the speed, you feel the acceleration. It's the acceleration that's exciting. You need to feel the change in your life to benefit from it. If you're born, I think the most miserable people on earth are those people who are born filthy rich. Imagine being born as an oil sheik. Money has no value. A Ferrari, you think it's gonna make you happy? Has no value. Nothing has value. Everything is just whatever. Girls have no value. You can buy unlimited hookers. You can buy unlimited Bugattis. You can buy whatever you want. Diamonds. It doesn't mean anything. You have to be broke to appreciate being rich. You need that. So anyone who's sitting there going, oh, I want money. Good. You need to feel how you feel now. Being poor is what's going to make you happy once you have money. This is a very key element to it. But I think it's
So we want to get more to we're skipping through the incriminating stuff. It's okay. Watch
like I'm driving a Bugatti, bro. I got shit to do. So you're gonna sit there. This guy's a fucking misogynist. Like, people are just asinine. This is a very low IQ approach to the world. It's very low IQ to sit there and go, I'm jealous. I hate this guy. That's what a stupid person would do. If I
isn't that literally? Didn't he literally say that was what incited him to be rich, being super jealous like that? That's literally what he said. That's what he said. That's what got him where he is. That he saw people driving in Ferraris and he was jealous of it.
Ruin your life, or it can make your life. So I think that if you're on in social media, you need to be very, very careful about how are you using care of you. But if you're like, oh, buy me this handbag, I'm like, fuck you. Like, and it's not about the money to me. Of course I can afford it. It's just fuck you. You don't deserve it. So a couple times I get that kind of thing, but in general, not really. In fact, I would actually say I'm too overt on socials. I think I put a lot of hours a week. If you show a man how to make $1,000 in an hour, he thinks, really? It's all a lie, complete lie. There's no football game. She didn't do the best. She did shit. But like, yeah, don't worry. Let's have the night off. Let's have a drink. She feels happy. I fixed the problem. You're a problem solver. It's better for her to give away a percentage to not have to worry about all this shit out there in the world. Her job.
I think he probably is quite good at the manipulation. Oh, Jesus. I think he's quite good. He probably is very good at manipulating women, right? You can imagine that he gets to get, because he's very charismatic, and that is one thing I will actually give him. Definitely. The guy has the charisma, right? That's why all these kids love him. So you can see how, like, especially the sort of women he's selecting for, which is like low self-esteem women who aren't gonna like the sort of woman that's gonna talk back and be like, no, you know, I want my own life, I want my own shit. The sort of woman who's probably not that like educated that you can trick. Right, you totally see where like
it becomes very
like,
simple if she works for a man. I just perform X amount of hours. I do what I'm supposed to do, and all the other magic, the money into the bank, all the magic, all the problems, it's all fixed. Oh, this crazy customer found my real Facebook. Don't worry, baby, I'll deal with him. What are you gonna do? Don't worry, I'll deal with him. I'll just block him from the website. I won't even do anything. She'll think I went mafia on his ass. It's a game, right? So it's never fear. It's safety. There was never a girl who worked for me who was afraid of me. They felt safe with me.
You see what I mean about? I think he thinks that it's only like trafficking or abuse if you like literally do the coercion. We saw that in the CLR lawyer, the criminal law, the guy, the lawyer dude, Mr. Lawyer Man. We saw in his video where he's saying it's fraud, coercion. What was the other? I can't remember, but like yeah, and it's like yeah. So he thinks, oh no, it wasn't coercive, so it's all above board. But no, it's the getting them over. It's the like psychological manipulation, control. These are all the shit that's like illegal. And I think he actually doesn't realize he's just confessing to a series of crimes now. Again, like these podcasts, I don't think they're the be all and end all in court because he could go, oh, I'm playing a character, come on. And like you look at the way he is, you look how bombastic he is, you look at all the stuff he comes out with, right? It doesn't have to convince the court that, no, 100%. It's definitely true that he's playing a character. He just has to cast reasonable doubt, assuming the Romanian court system works like everywhere else.
It was the complete opposite. It's the complete opposite of it. And what's really interesting is, this is going to really piss the feminists off.
But he's incriminating himself.
I'll tell you, it's the truth. It doesn't matter whether a woman wants to be a lawyer or a housemaker or a webcam girl. Unless she has a man directing her, she's going to fuck it up. They're just not built to be completely independent creatures. The women who go, I'm strong and independent. You're working for a man in a company and you're getting fucked by 10 men a month. You're not independent. It's just a lie. It's a lie. You're just undesirable. That's what you are.
The fuck? Where do these views like actually come from? It does kind of make you wonder, right? Like where do these like sit around and form this opinion that like no, when you see a lawyer, it's because there's a man directing it. Or what about women that are CEOs? Like what about Margaret Thatcher? Was that all Dennis? Was that all Dennis? It was all Dennis. He wasn't just this kind of sort of boring, unattractive, simpering guy in the background. No, to be brutally fair, the guy's a very, very successful businessman. But like, it's so fucking silly, man. It's just you have these views, and it's like nothing a woman can do. Nah, there's a guy. What about the guy that founded the business that she ended up taking over from the CEO? Really, it's like yeah. You might as well do the same shit where you might as well go, oh yeah, look at this fucking CEO. His men need a woman to direct them. Because first he had his mother, now he's married, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's the same shit, right? It's literally like going, oh, well, every time there's a powerful man, it's really because of the woman. It's literally the same argument.
There's no such thing as an independent female. They're all relying on a man to some degree. And if a woman wants to be very, very successful in her life, no matter what it is, whether she wants to be a gymnast, or whatever she wants to be. At some point, there's a man in charge telling her what to do. If you want to be the best webcam girl in the world, you want to make 50 grand a month, you need a man to make sure you do it right. And another reason that they work for a man is because women are intrinsically lazy. If you show a woman how to make $1,000 in an hour, she'll think, I can work 2 hours a week. If you show a man how to make $1,000 in an hour, he thinks, I can make $18,000 a day. We think about the world different, right? So there's no way any of the girls who quit and stopped working for me, they'd fuck around with it. They wouldn't be serious. I'd make their ass do their shifts and they'd make a bunch of money, right? So this is just the dynamic. The dynamic's beneficial for everybody. A woman will never work for a pimp out of fear. Never.
Again, pimp. But this is what I mean. This is how pimps view women. So like a lot of the misogyny shit is like directly related to why he ends up behaving in this way. Because totally, if you think a woman needs a man to tell her what to do all the time, if you think like, no, look, a man, it's fine for him to have 6 girlfriends and blah, 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 that are working for him. If you think it's good to be a pimp, which he also clearly does because he keeps boasting about it, right? Like, yeah, you're going to end up doing some shit that's going to end up doing some shit to women, whether it be trafficking, whether it be some kind of abuse, whether it be whatever it is, that's going to be illegal, that's going to get you into hot water, right? Like, actually, these views, they don't just hurt you in an indirect sense because they fuck with your ability to have a normal relationship with a woman, right? But it also can fuck you over because you think women need to be treated like this. And a lot of the shit that you're doing is kind of illegal, but you don't realise because you just think it's naturally what a woman should be doing, right? And you just get yourself into hot water. You see it all the time. You see it all the time with these guys, with Andrew Tate doing the pimp stuff. You see it with the guys who are abusing women and doing this stuff. A lot of it, they just have these views and it fucks with the way they treat women. And then it ends up fucking with them because they get themselves... Like, even if you're a complete sociopath, you don't give a fuck about women, it's going to get you into hot water.
That whole
And then if you go on fucking podcasts and boast about it, it's going to get you into even hotter water.
view on it is wrong. It's completely wrong. They will work for the same reason a woman will work, or a man, or anybody will work for any other corporation. I benefit from working for this corporation. I benefit from working for this person. That's all it is. There's no fear element. There's zero fear element.
How many levels in the pimp game is there? When you look at the corners, say you get the street hookers.
Yep.
You've got the people maybe addicted to crack. You've got the little man driving about.
See, literally kind of like the pimp game. Bro, how do you not see this is going to land you in hot water? So, the thing about being a burglar is that you've got to understand is that, you know, first, everybody is going to, like, you know, thinks that they keep shit in the house, right, and they're going to leave it unlocked. Most people are idiots, and fundamentally, they need to have the shit taken by somebody like me. Like, why would you do that if you're a burglar? Why, if you're a pimp, would you go to fucking podcast after podcast boasting about all the fucking sex trafficking pimping that you've done?
The bike, and then you've got the Bugattis, the webcams. How many levels is there?
All right, so how many levels are there in the pimp game? This is a good question. I would not consider myself at the top of the game.
Why?
Because you know who's at the top of the pimp game? Every other job out here besides my one. If a girl worked for me, she got 20% of the money. Do you think the person working for McDonald's gets 20% of the money he rings up? You think the person working for Starbucks gets 20% of the money they ring up? They're getting less than 1%. That's pimping. You want to talk about pimping? They'll make you stand your ass up behind a fucking till all day in the cold, in the heat, flipping burgers for minimum wage while taking thousands of dollars in an hour, and they're going to pay you $7 an hour. That's pimping. Don't worry about what I'm doing. I'm buying the girls Gucci handbags and giving them 20% of their turnover. I'm a shit pimp. I'm terrible. All these...
It's interesting that he's subconsciously, and I'm not a lefty, but I'm a liberal, but it's funny he's making this like super anti-cap at this point, where it's like, well, isn't it all? Because to be fair, that's actually an argument that if you've argued with anti-sex work people, right, that I've used, or that I've seen other people use. I think I got it from this feminist woman who was a big socialist who wrote this book about like sex work, where she was like, yeah, you want to say it's bad, but then what's working in Burger King for minimum wage? So he's like actually weirdly inadvertently making this like super left-wing point, which is quite funny. Like, oh yeah, you think what I think is bad, but like, what about the woman who's working flipping burgers for fucking $7 an hour? It's like, okay.
Businesses out here, they're the kings of pimping. You don't know what pimping is? A government locking you in your house, telling you that you're going to go broke, lose your company, and your children are going to starve, but it's for your safety because you might catch the common cold. That's pimping. You want to talk about the pimping of the world? I'm very low down the scale, my friend.
Yeah, again, most companies had like literal funds for businesses where they would like keep them afloat. The British government had a thing where you give them 10% of your shares and you get fucking like they'll guarantee to keep you afloat. So like, yeah.
There are much higher levels than me. This whole world is a pimp game. There's two kinds of people. There's pimps and tricks. That's all it is. You're either the pimp or you're being pimped one way or another by somebody or something. I was nothing. I took women who were getting exploited in a normal job, told them they can put a bra on and become rich, and started paying girls thousands. I was nothing but a philanthropist. I'm nothing but a feminist. I promote women to be the best they can possibly be. I'm no pimp. I'm a terrible pimp. All these other jobs out here are pimping. The BBC, when it convinces women to not have children and to dedicate their lives to some bullshit career in PR, that's pimping. People are getting destroyed out here. I never installed a frame in a woman's mind that was negative. I never taught her to do anything or be anything or think anything that was going to be detrimental to her life. I made sure every single action she took benefited her. It benefited her bank account at least. I've never done anything bad to anybody. A lot of people are go, oh yeah, but you exploited. Man, we can walk across there to that McDonald's and you can talk about exploitation. I'm a shit pimp. So you want to talk about the levels of pimping? Everything above me. Everything above me is a better pimp than me, man. Everything.
What do you think? Like, everything that you're doing now and looking back in your life, still young, 34.
Yeah.
What do you think? What's your honest opinion? Are you happy with it all? Or do you want, obviously you say you want more, but...
I've lived a very, very eclectic life, and I really believe that the key to my experiences and the key to how I view the world is the fact that I've lived such an eclectic life. I have had such different experiences. I've been broke. I've been a millionaire. I've been a pimp. I've been a fighter. You know, I've done so many different things. And I really think that, like we said, it's the juxtaposition. It's the contrast that makes life interesting. I'm happy with every single element of my life. And even if I wasn't, I would refuse to admit that I'm not.
Not so much now.
Right? This is the life I've lived.
Isn't that a bit
I accept all of it. If I've made a mistake in the past, it was the best thing I believe. At the time, I thought it was the best thing to do. This is another thing about people. I get, it's kind of weird. On my YouTube channel, I talk a lot about like mental rigidity and these kind of things, right? And I get a lot of people messaging me and they're very like, look, I'm very depressed, but I've been watching your videos and I want to kind of think like you. I want to be happier, etc. I made this big mistake 2 years ago and I lost my wife, whatever. And I try and explain to them that if you did what you believed was best at the time, hindsight's a bitch, right? If you did what you believed was best at the time, then what are you mad for? Every mistake I made in my life, at the time, I thought I was doing the right thing. So I'm not going to be mad at past me. And every single bad thing that's happened to me, every single piece of trauma that's happened in my life has led me here. So if you're happy with where you are currently, then you have to be happy for every bad thing that's ever happened to you. Genuinely, right? If you look at your life now and go, I'm quite happy with where I am, then you have to be happy with every single shit day you've had because you wouldn't end up here any other way.
To be fair, it is a good point. I am sometimes guilty of that. He has actually got a point there because I sometimes do that. I'm like, oh, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I do this in the past? And then, yeah, but actually my life's quite good. So it probably would have fucked me over if that had happened. So yeah, I'll give him that. He's got a point here.
You know, I wouldn't have grown as a man if my father didn't die.
Anyway.
The typical feminist tactic is to cancel somebody, right? To come at somebody and call them misogynist and call them all these things. And then that person loses their career or they're slandered. You can't slander me because I will state right now that I am absolutely sexist and I'm absolutely a misogynist. And I have fuck you money and you can't take it away. So I'll say what I want because I'm a realist. And when you're a realist, you're sexist. There's no way you can be rooted in reality and not be sexist. If you're about to get on a plane and that plane's going to fly through a hurricane and there's a 50-50 chance of it crashing and dying, do you want a male pilot or a female pilot?
Just a fucking good pilot I want.
That is such a politically correct answer and it's a lie.
It's not really like a good pilot. See, this is the thing, again. Like, I don't want to get too much into the misogyny shit, and like, does he hate women, blah, blah, blah. But he doesn't hate women. Like, clearly, never mind, that's not what misogyny is. But anyway, with what he's been saying, right, about, I think, again, we can see this all kind of feeds into the shit he's been saying about the pimping, about the stuff that he's done. And a lot of this, like, we've been on a 2-hour podcast where it's about his life, and most of it, at least half of like what we've watched, has been him incriminating himself and saying, calling himself a pimp. Again, like the Brer refers to himself as a pimp. That is not my words. That's not the BBC's words, Sky News, CNN, whatever you like. That's not any of that, right? That is Andrew Tate referring to himself again and again and again as a pimp, talking about how he pimps women, saying, like, well, I learned this in pimp school. You know, yeah, if you compare what I'm doing to a street pimp, this is exactly what they do, right? And we've seen that again and again and again throughout this whole podcast, right? To the point where I keep going, wait, we don't want to watch, I don't want to get bogged down in his views, so I want to get to the stuff where he talks about what he did. And yeah, it's like I literally, but half the time you have to like click, we're back to, yeah. So anyway, you take the women and then, you want to take all the money. You don't want them earning the money. So I tell them a load of bullshit about how they have to pay tax. And it's like, bro, why? Even if you do this, do not, again, advice, if you've done illegal shit, do not go online. Do not go, for all you know, I haven't. But for all you know, I've done illegal shit because I never fucking tell you about it. I never come on here and go, yeah. So, basically, I burgle people. Well, I've used the burgle example too much. Let's do a more fun run. Yeah, so I used to rob banks. Now, as a bank robber, what you got to realise is, right, when you go into the bank, now obviously I'm not doing the old school, stick the gun in the face. No. What I do is I go online and I hack into them. Now, when I'm trying to trick someone into giving me their password so I can hack all the bank shit, like, come on, why would you do it? Why would you tell me? Just don't mention it. Don't talk about any of the money you talk. Don't talk about that. Same thing. Why would you call yourself a pimp and talk about all the pimp shit you've done and then go, yeah, but I didn't beat any of them, so it's all fine, right? Like, yeah, I'm a pimp. Yeah, I took all the women, but I didn't smack them about. So it's like, yeah, I don't think most pimps do. That's why the lover boy method's illegal, because it's like, pimping 101. It's like the most common of all forms of pimp tactic, right? Even there was an episode of Futurama where like they made fun of it, where like Bender's in court for sex trafficking, and there's like, and they're walking out and these women like, "I love you, Bender." It's like, "Yeah, baby, I know." That's like the most typical pimp shit. There's all these women that you convince love you, and it's like, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Oh, but most of them don't go on podcasts and talk about it unless they're retired, in which case I've seen some of them talk about what they do, but they don't go around talking about crimes they're committing. It's going to land you in hot water. Just don't do it.
Things, and men are better at some things. I do not believe we're equal and all the same and we can be interchanged. I believe that certain roles suit females and certain roles suit males. Let me ask you another question then, because you're Mr. Non-Sexist. Let me ask you another question. Would you drop your child off in a daycare where it was run only by men?
No. Women only.
Yeah, there you go then. So you do have a gender
only, but I would
so you do have a gender bias.
Yeah.
That's more people worried about pedos though, right? Like that's more, and that's probably not good. It probably isn't actually great that we're in a society where I'm like, oh yeah, hi, I run the daycare, I'm a dude, and it's like my immediate thought pedo, right? Why is a man running a daycare? It's a pedo, right? But it's not actually sensible to think that way any more than it's right to think, wait, there's a woman teaching my 15-year-old son. Oh my god, she's gonna fuck him. Right, that's not sensible. Yeah, it happens, but like it's not likely. Like, don't worry. But still, that would be my thought. I don't think it's good. We probably shouldn't think this way, though. I actually think that that's good. That if I see a dude who's working with kids under 12, I assume he's like part of my pregnancy. Is he a pedo? That's not healthy. That's not good. Right? You know what? That's misandry. That is actually misandry. There's an example. In fact, right, there's an actual genuine real life example of misandry, and I'm admitting that I would do it. Right? And it's a thing in society. Why should we think that way? Right? You know what? If you're a dude and you run a nursery school or whatever, I'm going to do my best not to assume you're a pedo, even though I probably would, to be fair.
There's genes in it.
It's true. It's fucking true.
We want to get back to the sex trafficking. We're not as interested in the... I'm not going to get bogged down. I keep doing it. I keep going, I'm not getting bogged down in the views, then talk for 20 minutes and then go, oh shit, I've gotten bogged down again. Fuck. But it is interesting talking about Tate's views.
And it couldn't have been an idea that...
Right, I'm quite interested in, I like talking about Tate's views. I'm well up for debating that with some people. But I think here we just want to learn. We just want to watch him incriminate himself and go, see, this is why, if he has done what he says he's done, is at least guilty of the trafficking. He's never admitted to he's charged with rape. He's never admitted to that. He's never talked about doing something like that. So there's no videos of him doing that, right? But there are certainly videos of him talking about trafficking and how and again, we've seen again. I'm a pimp. Yo, so this is how you pimp women. When you pimp, just don't do that. Don't say it. Just keep stum. If you're committing crimes, you're doing shit like this, just keep quiet. Don't go, well, I didn't smack him, so it's probably illegal. And then anyway, it doesn't matter because hey, everybody, hey, millions of people watching. I live in such a corrupt shithole, I can just bribe them, right? They want to coast you up to the EU, but I did loads of illegal bribes with them because now you're a liability for the country you were getting away with stuff in. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
Bread, right?
100%.
Yeah, because you have Aztecs and the Mao dynasty. You have the Brazil and China. They never spoke. So the idea couldn't spread, right? But just by coincidence, in every single society since the dawn of human time, the men were in charge. What's the odds of that if it was a coin flip per society? 0% chance.
That's not actually true because you have plenty of Celtic and Germanic societies where women did. Just to clarify, to my point, again, I said this earlier, I don't know why people insist on guessing at history. History's fun, and to be honest, if you want to make your point about most societies being controlled by men, they were, so fine, you can still make your point. But just look at history, different societies have different views on this, right? Like, when Boudicca rebelled against the Romans, the idea to the Romans of fucking, a whole culture and different tribes rallying behind a woman and having her lead them into battle was insane. It's madness. Right? But in the Celtic culture, that was especially after what was done to Boudicca, where the Romans gang raped her or gang raped her fucking 12-year-old daughters in front of the whole tribe, right? After her husband had been great friends with them to steal all the land that it was fucking insane. Right? People did. So you see that there, and sometimes I think it was Dacia would try and fuck with the Romans and by sending women into battle with them. So again, he's right. Most societies male dominated, almost, but like there's different views on this in different societies. Like there's not this universal, here's what men do, here's what women do. It's like very different from society to society.
Right? So men are obviously designed to lead. Now, I'm sure there was
I keep doing it. We're just interested in the sex traffic stuff. We're just interested in that. It's difficult not to go into. Surely we agree that he's incriminating himself repeatedly at this point. At least if he did, maybe you think he was fronting, maybe you think he's having a laugh, right? But at this point,
is slaves. Slavery's not gone.
So at this point, right, we've seen so much shit. Even if he doesn't bring it up again for the rest of this video, we've seen so much shit from just like literally explaining how he pimps, why he pimps, and who he pimps, right? So yeah, I think
anywhere, right? So the old school idea of slavery. Let's talk about slavery. A government would get slaves, make them work for free, and build things. That's slavery. So they've stopped doing that now. So what do they do now? They get people, make them build things for money, but the government print all the money. So if a government can create as much as they want of something from thin air, and you'll give up your life for this thing they can create from thin air as much as they want, you are still their slave. That's it. You used to be a slave and you'd work all day, and at the end you got food in the house. Now you work all day, you get money, and you spend all your money on a food and a house. Like slavery is still here, my friends. Nothing's changed, right? Nothing's.
That's why people need disposable income. I think it is quite an important thing that people do have disposable income, because I do sort of agree with them here that
changed. And what they want is they want slaves. They want slaves who are going to comply and pay their taxes. And whatever kind of indoctrination or societal programming they can instill inside of people to keep them doing that, they're going to do. Anything it takes to stop people waking up and realizing, whoa, the government's fucking me here. Let's forget Corona. Let's forget locking us all in our houses and taking our business away. I'm paying how much tax? What? They're helping me how much? If you actually wake up and look around you, you realize you're being destroyed in real time. We can talk about this a lot because I understand money very well. This is what I do now. I gave up professional fighting to understand money. I was having a conversation with someone the other day. They were talking about Joe Biden and his relief checks. He gave out $1,400 to all the people in America because of Corona. And he's saying, don't you think he's good that he's helping the poor? I said, you think that helps the poor? Let's talk about this. You give 100 people a $1,400 check, right? Everyone understands you can't just leave it in the bank forever because of inflation. The value goes down because what happens when they print trillions of dollars from the sky? The dollar becomes less valuable. And now we're living in a world right now where inflation's getting out of control, especially in America, right? In the last year, inflation's up like 6-7%. So no poor person is going to take that money and just leave it in the bank. They're going to either spend it or invest it. Let's say there's 100 poor people and the 100 poor people spend their money. What do they spend it with? Businesses. Who owns businesses? Rich people. So now each one rich person who owns a business gets 10 poor people's money.
Yeah, but I think it's more something than just get food, to be fair. But I don't like, the thing is, what's the solution? Everybody has to be in society and make money in order to keep things going. See, this is it. It makes these weirdly almost socialist points, but then it's he's literally the worst example. He's kind of almost the worst example of what hypercapitalism could do and make you super materialistic and all of this. And again, I'm not anti-capitalist in the sense I've never seen somebody provide a serious alternative, right? That's worked and not just caused absolute chaos or violence. But still.
Or 20 poor people's money.
It's just ironic to me. Like the man in the thousands of pound clothes. Doesn't he give all his money to businesses? Aren't Bugatti a business? Is that not a massive corporation? Aren't Ferrari? Aren't all the people that make his clothes, his shades, all the fucking shit he spends his money on? What's the fucking difference? Other than he's giving even richer people even more money.
Amazon, their stock price went up 30%. Why? Because people are getting stimulus checks and spending it on Amazon. It all went to the rich guy. And then they go, oh yeah, but what about if they invest it? Invest it where? Invest it in the stock market? That increases the stock price. Who owns the company? Rich people. You've made them richer. What if you and all your poor friends, 20 poor friends, it'd be more than 20, 200 poor friends, put all your money in together and bought one house between you? That still takes one house off the market and raises the property value of that area. Who already owns those expensive houses? Rich people. It always ends up back with the rich people. You can't stop making the rich richer. You cannot stop it. People inside the matrix don't understand what's happening. And they're going to sit there and go, but the government cares about me. He gave me $1,400. The government doesn't give a shit about you. The government is looking after its friends. The government gave all the slaves a little bit of pocket money so they can send it all to the rich guys. It's all a scam. And people inside of the Matrix do not understand. It's all a scam. It's all a lie. The idea that government cares about them is a lie. The government is never going to tell you anything that's going to wake you up. The government's going to teach you things that are going to make you subservient and compliant. They're going to tell you all this crap about identifying as a panda and all this other shit is not an accident.
Which fucking government people are doing that? This is the thing. This is just a side note that I really hate about some of this stuff. Is like the government cares about staying in power and getting elected. This is one of the flaws in society at the moment. That's kind of like all they really care about, right? And like the idea that anything that I don't agree with in society is coming from the state. Like one of the best things that I encourage people to do about the modern era is not only do we live in most of us free societies, right? Where you have the right to go look up information. You have all information available in front of you. You can go and educate yourself. You can go and learn about like really what's going on about all of this stuff. Unfortunately, people don't. People go, Andrew Tate's all like brash and he does all this stuff, so I listen to him. Or I listen to somebody who tells me, it's all the Matrix, it's all lies. You can go and look at objective shit, which I think is one of the saddest stuff. Because politicians do lie to you. Right? They do tell you stuff that's bollocks. But it's never this extreme, we're living in the Matrix, we don't know what's real conspiracy. It's usually just like, they're bullshitting you, they're fobbing you off with a couple of statistics, right? So you don't realise how bad they're doing in office. You don't realise they've no solutions. That we're dealing with a load of serious issues that nobody has any solutions for. No one's trying to make solutions. They're just trying to get you worried about culture war bullshit. So that you don't actually go to the government and go, hey, all of you in all of the main parties have no fucking solutions to all of the problems that are affecting my life. What the fuck's going on? That's what they do. That's what they do. They love it when you're arguing over nonsense. They love it when you're distracted with Andrew Tate, whether you like him or don't like him. Right? It doesn't actually matter. Right? It doesn't actually matter. And I always feel like a lot of this kind of conspiratorial shit is kind of like if you're being fucked in the arse. And then you go, shh, shh, I can hear a noise I think there's a ghost in the attic. There's some shaking going on. It's a poltergeist. No, don't go for the crazy explanation. Go for the guy behind you who's fucking you in the arse. Right, that's the real one. That's the real, look at that. Don't go for this, we're living in the Matrix, it's all a conspiracy, it's all lies, everyone the giant god. No, right, you've got a lot of people, right, who are in a system that produces results where the kind of lets the people who are self-serving rise to the top to some extent. Right? You see it politically, where one of the worst things, say, in British politics is that politicians never say anything. They just have their slogans that have all been focus grouped to because it's been found to resonate the most with swing demographics, right? And they repeat that again and again and again and again and again, right? But you're in a system where a lot of them get into politics, they're bright-eyed, they want to help people, they want to do a difference, but the system rewards people who go on the television, lie, obfuscate, talk rubbish, right? And that's what happens. And so they sell their souls, right? And they end up selling their souls. You're seeing it in the Labour Party at the moment, but they're kind of all just selling their souls to beat the Tories. And it's like, what's the point then? What's the point if you're just going to sell out every principle you ever had, right? And that's how you're being lied to. Not because it's a giant conspiracy and COVID's a lie and everything's a lie and they're all trying to trick you. Oh, and they're trying to force feminism on you to make you compliant. It's not really because there's a lot of academics and people like this who looked at society and studied. No, it's none of that. Really, just listen to a couple of online gurus who are going to tell you the real truth. That promotes the system, because most people don't listen to Andrew Tate or take him seriously, and then he gets thousands of people who might otherwise be questioning what's going on, believing rubbish about the Matrix and this, that and the other, instead of saying, why have you no solutions to the crisis of low wages? Why is it that no one's had a fucking pay rise for 20 years in real terms, and yet none of you are even talking about it or providing solutions? You're just talking about how we have to accept that we're all poorer, right? What about that? What about that? Instead of this rubbish. Anyway, sorry.
And they can convince the average person on the street to pretend.
But let's try and see if he incriminates himself again. If not, we might chill. We might even move on. We'll see. We'll see. If anyone wants to drop a comment with if you want to see some shit next.
Do I believe in God? It's a good question. I do believe in God.
I believe in a higher power. I don't know, but why do you think we're here? What the brain, how it works, the heart, the kidney.
Is he going to say anything else about Saturdays?
If my kid did that, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, are you fucking moron? I wouldn't even give him a funeral, but fuck him, right?
Because some of his views, we've gone over some of it, we've talked about some of it, it's been quite fun, but I think a lot of it is just we kind of built this picture of Andrew Tate clearly, if he has done the stuff he said here, the stuff he said in the other video, if he's just done the stuff he says he's done, he's guilty of the sex trafficking. We don't know about the rape, but if he said, right, that remains to be seen. We don't know what the evidence is. We don't know what. We'll wait and see. But with sex trafficking stuff, if again I just don't understand how people get so caught up in defending him and going, "Oh, he couldn't have done it. There's no way he could have done it," when he literally calls himself a pimp and talks about stuff that, under the definition of the law, is trafficking. Right? I don't get. I just don't get it. I don't get how he's still going. Even if you think, oh, you know what, I don't think he's wrong. I don't think it's one thing if you want to go, oh, they should legalise the lover boy method for cam stuff or whatever. Right? I very strongly disagree, but that's a position. But you can't argue, oh, it's the Matrix. It's the Matrix. Literally, we've watched him. We've watched him say he did it. He could be lying, but he said he did it. Right, this was a couple of years ago, right? And he said that he's done it. He said he's done it several times. We've got him on several different videos saying this. Oh yeah. I've seen that Destiny's been teasing a debate with Andrew Tate and Tristan or something. Which or something like Tristan's been messaging him. So that could be interesting. If that happens, I think we'll cover that. We'll watch that. We might watch it live. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know. Let's see if there's any more memes or like live news shit, and then I think maybe we'll call it a day. But it's been a fun stream. Don't forget to follow, like, all our bollocks. You know what? Fuck it. Everything's going slow. I think that was it. We've had a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun today. We watched... we had a lot of fun with the Andrew Tate stuff. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. Follow Fuzzy Logic for more memes, more fun. We're probably going to be sticking with the story. We're definitely going to cover it as it develops. We could even end up with more of it this week if some new shit comes out. It's been a right laugh. I love you all. Have a wonderful evening.